There we go. Looks like a couple of deer in the headlights there for a second, Dave. So we had a little trouble with the card software. Again, we're here live at the bike. Everything is fixed. We actually didn't miss anything. They colored their chips up
and changed the game.
And now we're now playing $10,000, $20,000 minimum game. So we did that with that big hand in the beginning of the night. But note that for Bluff Night, and again, we're giving away this iPod Nano to the biggest bluffer of the night. And we're going to go around and introduce the table real quick.
Yeah, let's do it real quick one more time. In seat 1 again, we've got Martin Das. There he is, solid player. Seat 2, we've got Jeff Gruber. Don't know much about Jeff. Seat 3 is still empty. Here, word that a couple players are on their way. Seat 4, we've got Kevin Kim. Saw him win that big pot with 10-9. Seat 5, we've got Track Win. He was the unfortunate loser. Seat 6, we've got Tommy Huffnagel, former World Series of Poker bracelet winner. Seat 7 is Tony. Seat 8, we've got Huang Shi. And seat 9, we've got Crazy Joe Win.
Yep. And there we go. We're going to get into our second hand of the night. And again, the brown chips are now $10 chips, Dave. The white chips are $100 chips.
Well, and Kevin Kim's got pocket kings.
Yeah.
He's got 2 black kings here.
Now, he raised out of the, looks like the big blind to 100. Track Wayne, who lost that big hand against Kevin earlier, the first hand of the night.
Wow, and look at this flop.
Wow, Track's got trip queens. Trip queens. And Kevin checks the overpair. And Track's going to bet, Dave.
200.
He bets 200 fast playing the 3 queens. And you got to think that Kevin might, I mean, he thinks he's playing a trap here, right?
I would assume so. Well, I mean, it's tough heads up to have put the other guy right away on a queen. And he's going to check raise.
Yeah.
Raise.
Makes it 500 more. And Track's going to put the rest of his money in.
Call.
And he's going to call.
Well,
that's another 1,000, Dave. And we've got about a $3,000 pot here again right away. And Track fills up. He needs a king. He doesn't get it. Track's going to win with queens full of 3s. Another, like, $3,000 pot between these two guys.
Yeah,
we just pop right back in.
Absolutely amazing.
Wow.
These guys, it's like round 1 went to Kevin. Round 2 went to Track.
Right.
2,170.
And we're getting word that Track had 2,100 of it, 2,100 before the hand, so he doubles through, and it's a $4,200 pot. Wow.
2,170.
So a $4,200 pot there, Dave. Even more than I had said before.
I don't want to
And it's interesting, I mean, Track just tried to bluff Kevin out before.
Right.
So it's hard for Kevin to give him any credit for a hand here. Especially heads up.
Right.
Well, you gamble with me, I gamble with you. That's it.
Look at that board.
I don't bluff you.
And getting word that Diablo is in the game, and he is going to be in seat 3, and he has bought in for $5,000.
Right. Again, the brown chips are $10 chips, the purples are 25s, the whites are 100s, and the big green ones are 1,000. And again, we've seen 2 big hands, Dave, the 2 hands we've covered tonight between seat 4 and seat 5.
Yeah.
We have a raise here by seat number 2, Jeff, to 60 with pocket 3. Seat 4 is going to call with an ace-jack, and Track Win is in there with 7-5 offsuit. $180 pot, 3 ways to the flop. Queen 9 deuce. Pocket 3s is still good here.
Betting 100.
And there's a $100 bet here by pocket 3s. And a call with ace-jack, Dave. He calls. He doesn't really have much of a draw there, Kevin, but he makes the call. The turn card comes 8. Pocket 3s is still good. Track is out of the hand.
Yeah, how do you play this with 3s now, though?
Well, he's going to bet 300.
Wow. Well, he's got position on this guy.
And again, Kevin doesn't have anything here.
Wow.
What is he planning on doing?
I mean,
he's going to make the call, Dave. He's got a gut shot to the 10.
Well, I mean, if he would raise, he would win the pot.
So the pot's about $1,100 here going to the river. And the river's a 5, and pocket 3s are good. Check. And does Jeff think he needs to bet here to win?
I imagine he must.
Where's my draw?
He's going to bet.
Betting 600.
He bet 600, and Kevin quickly mucks. And wow. Jeff takes it down.
Well, hand it to Jeff to keep firing there, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, that takes a lot of,
Small blind this way, please. You want a hand
a lot of courage there to just keep firing there with only a pair of 3s. Wow.
Again, folks, we are here live at the bike. We're doing 10, 20, no limit, $1,000 minimum buy-in. We had a little difficulty in the beginning of the show. We started it up, had a big hand between Kevin Kim and Track Win, came back, took about a 5-minute break, came back to Kevin Kim, then losing to Track Win.
Right.
And then we've just seen another big hand. So 3 big hands right off the bat. And we're doing bluff night. So get your emails in there. Suggestions on 2+2 or who you think the biggest bluff is. You got to think that Track Win, the first hand of the night, was trying to make a bluff at the end when he moved all in with 7-9.
Yeah, definitely.
So what does that mean? I got
Now
a bluff?
Joe has got ace-queen here, and he is raised.
I mean, you're kind of wondering now, Kevin Kim, the first hand, I gave him credit for making a great call with 10-9.
Right.
With, a pair of 9s with only a 10 kicker. But after seeing the way he played ace-jack there, you're wondering if maybe he just has trouble letting go of hands.
Now Diablo's in here in seat 3. Joe raised with ace-queen to 80. Diablo calls. Remember, this is the tight, solid Diablo we've seen the last couple of weeks.
That's good for Joe.
And we've got a few callers here. 4-way action, $320 pot. Joe is the raiser. Ace-5 king. Joe's hit top pair.
And nobody has a 5 or a king, so
Joe's going to check the ace, Dave.
playing it tricky.
And everybody checked. Well, there's 2 hearts on board.
Joe does that a lot. Joe
And
does
the
that-
turn is a 6, and Diablo's hit a set, and it's a heart.
Wow. And Joe does that sometimes. He'll play it a little tricky.
And he's checked again, and now Diablo's going to bet.
Betting 110.
That's 110. You know Diablo probably would have folded on that flop. And now has Joe put himself in a position where he's just going to call here because there's 3 hearts on board.
No, he's going to raise it
He's
up.
going to raise.
400 more to call.
Makes it 400, 510. If I'm Diablo with pocket 6s there, do you think Joe might have aces, kings? Could he maybe have made a flush there? But I don't know exactly what flush he would have had, David, that he wouldn't bet the flop with.
Well, you wonder, he was in early position here.
I mean, he's bluffing today.
And he could have a set. I mean, he definitely could have a set of
Playing it
kings or
like
aces.
he's got aces or kings.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could.
He check raises the turn.
One more heart.
And Diablo's going to call, and he says, I want one more heart. And we've got a $1,300 pot here. And the river's a heart. Oh, wow.
Now, Diablo's got the advantage of being in position. Joe's in a tough spot here. He's only got a pair of aces with a queen kicker.
7 of hearts on the river.
Diablo has the best hand if they
Yeah.
show it down. And this is the power of position here. People say, oh, come on, position's overrated. Yeah, tell that to Joe right now.
Yeah. Again, we get the 7 of hearts on the river. And it's about a $1,400 pot.
That's the only way, Joe.
And Joe's actually got about $4,000 behind him right now.
Yeah. Joe checked the flop. He check-raised the turn when Diablo made a set.
And this is a tough hand to bet into. Man. I mean, it's easy if you know what Diablo has, because if you make a big bet, Diablo cannot call.
Check. Let's see what Diablo does.
I don't have heart. If you got heart, you win.
And Diablo's going to check. But the set of 6s is going to take it down.
And Joe now realizes that the free card that he gave Diablo burned him.
Absolutely on the flop. And then it just got so scary at the end. Wow.
You almost won that the pot. You blocked me out, but I told you that was the night. That was the time.
I mean, Joe really played the hand, Dave, like he had aces or kings, right? A set of aces or kings.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I mean, that's incredible.
Scary card. I don't like the heart.
And if Joe makes throws in $1,000 on the river, can Diablo call?
Right.
I don't know.
Full card, bet against full card. You see what he did? Check raise. You sneaky Joe. Sneaky Joe.
So caught many big hands right off the bat.
Yeah.
Dave, right off the bat.
Sometimes in No Limit, you try to give that free card to try to trap somebody, but sometimes you just get trapped yourself.
Again, probably we're going to say that Track wins bluff the first hand is going to be the big bluff so far tonight. But
Well, so far, right. And obviously,
Right.
you get points for more bluffs, obviously, if one person puts in 10 good bluffs and the other
Right.
only puts in one. We'll let everybody vote accordingly, and then we'll put in our own 2 cents.
Well, four-way action here. Limped around. Deuce 3-4. Tommy's got top pair and open-ended straight draw. And he's going to bet 70.
Pretty straightforward
Look at
for
this.
Tommy, huh?
Tony's going to call with overcards and a gut shot to the 5.
Now, the only thing nice about that is if he hits his gut shot, he doesn't just have the 6, he has the 7 on
That's
straight.
right. Well, the turn's a 7, so now Tony has the best hand. And Tommy checks. Pot's about $200. Tony's going to bet. He bets 150 here.
And this is one of those where they both are rooting for the other person to make 2 pair.
Right. Tommy gets away. Well, Tommy's pretty tight, Dave.
Yeah. And he's playing the player, too. He's playing Tony there.
Yeah. And I guess you could say, you could also put in the fact that seat number 2 there, Jeff, with pocket 3s, the second hand we came back to, that might be considered a bluff at the end, too, at the river. Because
Yeah.
he didn't think he had the best hand.
I
There's
don't
no
think,
way.
yeah, I don't think he certainly
Yeah.
wasn't betting for a value bet.
Yep.
The machine download the music to the
iPod. You see, now you're saying
How much are you put in another $1,000?
Friday night. So Friday night at the bike.
Yeah.
It's 2 fist night, huh?
Double fist night for me.
About 300.
300? Joe. Now, so you're fighting for it, no?
Where had you put in $1,000?
There's some big Broadway cards out there. Let's see what Kevin Kim does. He has ace queen offsuit here.
He's going to raise. Diablo limped in with king 9 of clubs.
He makes it $100 to go.
Ace queen offsuit.
Trap's
T5's
gonna
going to
call.
call with
Wow.
7-8 offsuit. And Joe Wynn's going to call with queen 9.
Queen 9 suited. He's got hearts there.
We have a $400 pot. Four-way action.
The action's good here.
Here we go. Oh, 9-4-8, and Joe and Diablo both hit top pair. Joe checks the queen 9. I smell a check raise. Diablo checks as well. Kevin checks the ace queen. He's the pre-flop raiser. And Track has a pair. He's going to bet 300 with 7-8, the third best
Can you
hand.
blame Track there?
Now, if Joe check raises here, oh, he just calls. I was going to say, could he maybe knock Diablo
Now,
out
if
of
you're
the hand?
Diablo now, you got a bet and a call.
Yeah.
At this point, do you want a nice raise in there, knock one of these guys out?
Do you even know if your hand's good right now? The original raiser checked.
I mean, what would you put somebody
Yeah.
on, though? You mean you're saying maybe a pair higher than
Well,
than
he's
nines?
just going to call, and we've got three-way action.
Wow.
So the pot is now $1,300. The turn's a king, and Diablo's made kings up.
Yeah, I was about to say Diablo's in good shape, and now he's in great shape.
And he looks like he's going to bet.
Yeah, Joe is drawing dead. Joe cannot win this pot.
Betting 500.
He bets $500 into a $1,300 pot there, Dave. 2 spades on board, kind of a small bet.
Well, it's a backdoor spade draw. I don't give much credence to the spade draw there.
Board is a little bit connected. You got 8,
Yeah.
9 out there.
And Track can't like his hand. He bet $300 into a $600 into a $400 pot. Got called in 2 spots.
He's going to muck.
Yeah.
And what is Joe going to do here?
And Joe is drawing dead.
God, we see this so often when people get involved and they're drawing dead.
Nothing's worse. I mean, most professional poker players will say, one thing you never want to do is put money in when you're drawing dead.
Now, those are the big chips, the $1,000 doozies there in the middle, Dave.
Those doozers?
Yep,
Yeah.
right there, the green ones. He only has Queen 9 now.
Well,
It's
Joe's wearing his money shirt tonight. He
It's-
said that green shirt, that's his money shirt.
It's an $1,800 pot, $500 for Joe to call.
It's a small bet. I mean, he's thinking, wait a second, why is this guy...
Oh, whoa, he's going to check raise.
Oh,
And I don't know
man.
if Diablo can get away. I mean, Diablo's got to think his hand is good. It's a $3,000 more. Does he think that Joe has a set?
Well, there's no straight out there.
Yeah. He's got top 2.
I mean, if Joe had Jack 10, it just,
Yeah.
he's not there.
Wow. The pot now is $4,800.
And how much did he put in there? 4,000?
3,000. $4,800 pot, $3,000 for Diablo, or $2,500 for Diablo to call.
Wow, what a bluff here by Joe. I don't know if it's going to work, but
I mean, the only thing that Diablo can lose to here is a set, right? Would be behind.
I mean, unless
He's got top
you
two
think,
pair.
unless you think Joe thinks he has the best hand and Diablo's on some sort of draw, and Joe just wants to get him off the draw.
$4,800 in the pot, $2,500 for Diablo to call.
Oh, man. And this is just bad timing by Joe because, I mean, if the king doesn't come on the turn, I don't think Diablo can make this call at all. But now it's really tough for him.
Joe bet the flop and check raised the turn. And Diablo's hand's pretty strong. And he's going to make the call. He's going to make the call, and I think that Joe might be pretty much, in essence, all in. And Joe is drawing dead.
Yeah.
It's about an $8,000 pot here. And here we go to the river. The river's a 6.
Two pairs.
And there you go. Diablo's going to win it with kings up.
And
Joe
Joe-
is pretty much all in.
Yeah, Joe knows once that Diablo
Yeah.
calls him.
Yeah.
Once Diablo calls him, he knows that he's beat.
Wow.
There's no way that Diablo's going to call with a hand worse than Queen 9.
There's a big bluff. I don't know if, the iPod Nano is worth, upwards of $3,000. But you got to put Joe in the lead right now, huh?
Well, that's a hell of a bluff, man.
Yeah,
It just
right
didn't
there.
work.
$3,000.
I don't want to berate Joe's play there because let's be honest. If Diablo has a 9, only a 9, and the river comes out and the turn comes out anything else pretty much,
Right.
can Diablo make that call? If he just has a top pair, can Diablo make that call?
I mean, even if it's a blank deuce, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a really tough call.
And there's a $5,000 chip there, that purple chip. Yep. So I think that Joe just took that out of his pocket and put it onto the table. So he's $5,000 behind.
And I got to tell you, the more the hands start flying around, this night is just boding for a great, great night.
Oh, absolutely.
Man. Wow, we've seen some action. And it's nice to see some different faces, huh?
Yeah, he called.
And the pot's going to be limped around here.
5 player.
5 players, so we got a $100 pot. Jack 5-4, a couple of hearts out there. Joe's got 6-3. He's open-ended.
Hung's got King Jack over there.
And seat 2 also, actually, Jeff. He's also got top pair.
Betting 100.
Yep, and Jeff's going to lead right out here. He bets 100 with the Jack 8.
And the button is in seat 7, I believe.
So seed 8 checked the top pair in early position, and he's going to check
Make it
raise.
300 total.
There you go. He makes it 300.
And Joe's open-ended here, but with a couple of hearts out there, a bet and a call. Does he really want to get involved?
Well, betting a check raise.
A bet and a check raise. Thank
Yeah.
you. Do you want to get involved? I'm not sure if Huang has enough money to make it worthwhile.
Let's see if we can get a shot of Huang maybe and see how much money. Unfortunately, Tommy's head is in the way here. Huang there in seat number 8. He's got about maybe 900 left, Dave.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I mean,
And Joe calls. Joe
Wow.
calls. He calls with. If you put in a big chip and you don't announce anything, it's a call, and that's what Joe's done with the $5,000 chip. And now, Jeff, how's the Jack 8 looking?
yeah, pretty ugly. I mean, he's got no redraw to anything.
Yeah.
300 on the 2.
Pot's now about $800. Heads up. Turns a 5.
I want to say I really like the way Jeff played that hand, and I'll get back to that in a second.
And King Jack's going to move all in. He's going to move all in for probably maybe 500 or 600 more. And Joe calls. Joe calls with the draw, and he doesn't get there.
Man,
And Hong's going to take down about a $2,000 pot.
Man,
Joe's just gotten killed 2 hands in a row.
yeah, he's wearing his money shirt, but it ain't working.
Yep. Wow. So obviously they're going to have to break that chip down and give him some change, that purple chip.
600.
And I want to get Jeff. I really like the way Jeff played that hand. He was in like middle position in seat 2. The button was in seat 7. He had top pair with not much of a kicker, and it's a $100 pot. And he threw out $100 in there. He didn't kind of wait. He just threw out 100 to see where he was at.
Right.
Then he found out after he got check raised and then called. He found out he was probably behind, and he got rid of it right away. I really like the way Jeff played that hand. Much better than checking it, you know. Then the turn comes out, then Huang bets it, and then you're in kind of a spot where, you know, wait a second, is this guy trying to pick up the pot?
Right.
You know, and you get stuck calling. He finds out right away where he's at. Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We're watching No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 10 and 20. And there we are. Button is in seat 8. Got a new setup coming in here. Cards get placed into the Shuffle Master machine. I tell you, I love those machines.
Whoever invented that must be a rich man now, huh, Dave?
Mr. Shuffle Master?
Yeah.
They actually have them everywhere. I mean, they're in the Bellagio. They're in most big card rooms, poker rooms now.
I actually think that the way that Shuffle Master works as well is that the casinos, they're not really for sale. They lease them.
Yeah.
They actually lease the Shuffle Masters.
And they're not cheap.
I guess is
But you imagine, though,
make more money off the lease than you would off of selling them.
well,
I
the
guess.
technology is always getting better every day. That it's not cost effective to buy them. I don't think. So they lease them out.
Oh, so you think the casinos actually want to lease them instead of buying them?
Yeah, I think you can buy them, but I think they're like ridiculously expensive if you
Yeah.
want to buy one.
Actually, I think that there's a lease purchase option. Little birdie in my ear just told me that there's
Wow.
a lease purchase option.
You're such a
that the
brainiac.
casinos
How do you know
have.
that? Amazing. But I mean, you can imagine how much money they make for the casino. Because
Right.
obviously, every hand is played as a rake for a casino.
Right.
And these maybe add, 10% more hands per hour? Or 10% more hands per year?
Five-way action limped around. Seat 8 on the button had ace-queen, Dave, and did not raise. And he's hit top pair.
Huang, yeah.
And Joe is going to bet here with Jack 10, a gut shot straight draw, I believe.
Well, I was going to say, I
You bet
thought for
$20.
a second. Now, Jeff's got the nut flush draw.
And he called, and Tony called with king deuce. And let's see if ace-queen raises. And he is. He's going to make it 110 to go.
Tony
120.
called with king deuce?
Yeah.
Wow, that's an odd call from Tony.
Yeah, backdoor hearts and 2 spades out there. And Joe is just, I think he feels like he's just getting killed out there. He's going to make the call with his draw. And again, he is not drawing to 4 outs, but 2 outs, right? For his gut shot.
Yes.
The turn is a king. It makes Joe open-ended now. It looks like he's going to bet again here, Dave.
600.
He bets 600, which is a little over the size of the pot. The pot is now about 1,000. 600 to call. Jeff gets out of there with his draw and his
Wow.
overcard. Well, Joe led out on the flop, and now he's led out again on the turn. Do you still think that ace-queen is good here? The king doesn't really complete a draw out there.
Yeah, sometimes you play the player, and Joe's been taking a beating here.
Mm-hmm.
Joe has shown down, nothing, no good hands. I mean, he bluffed with queen 9.
But these guys are fairly deep, obviously. Joe's deep, and so is Huang. When he won, and Huang's he's gonna muck there, Dave. Wow.
Pretty tight play there.
There's a bluff there by Joe.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the play, the only thing I was going to say is I'm not quite sure why you give respect to Joe in that case, because he showed down queen 9, and then the hand before, when Huang had top pair, you actually got paid off by 6 high. I mean, I know he's open-ended, but
So you sell me one.
You, I give you one for free.
Oh, right.
You, my
Okay.
man.
Thank you, man. I'm going to fold just for that.
Button is in seat 9. That's Joe's spot.
Okay.
And actually, we have a post up here on 2plus2. Again, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out in the forum section. World Poker Tour and other televised tournaments, the Live at the Bike official thread for October 28th. The Big Bad Rook says, for a bluff to be a bluff, the other person must fold. Otherwise, you can call it charity. Well, that's actually not how we've been doing it, Dave. You
Well,
can
I
make a
don't-
big bluff and get called, then it's still a big bluff.
Right, it might
Yeah.
be a failed bluff.
Right.
100.
Obviously, a great successful bluff,
Mhm.
to me, is more impressive than a bluff that doesn't work.
Right. Jeff is bet here with Queen 10, top pair, and he's going to take it down.
I mean, I actually like that last bluff by Joe with the Jack 10 better than the Queen 9 bluff. There we get a close for the chips there. Whites are 100, purples are 25, brownish red ones are 10. And those blues and yellows, the blues are 1 and the yellows are 5. And like we said before, if you see a big green chip, that is a $1,000 chip.
Button is now in seat 1. And seat 1 just limps from the button with king, queen, ace, jack there in seat 7, 9, 10 suited in seat 8. 10, 6, 4. Track is in the hand in seat 5. We can't see what he has.
Yeah. Now Huang's got the best hand again. He's got a pair of 10s.
Well,
see how he
six-way
plays
action limped around, $120 pot, 6 times 20. And Huang's going to bet 90.
Huang appears to be a pretty solid player there. Takes it down.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
The new improved Diablo. Boy, I've really been impressed by the way he's playing
Yeah.
recently. Yeah.
Now, you were telling me he obviously played a little tighter and definitely more solid in the Wednesday game where the money was a little
He did.
deeper. Yeah.
He did. Tommy,
in here.
yeah, Tommy Huffnagel with King Jack. Limp, limp. And we've
Looked
got
around.
7-way action, 7-way action.
$140 pot here.
Ace 9, 9.
Yeah, nobody's got a 9, but Diablo and Track both have aces.
And Diablo's going to lead.
Now, in all likelihood, if Track and Diablo were to stay in this pot, it would get chopped down. Their kicker probably would not play.
Well, Track has to deal with everyone else behind him that might possibly also have a 9. He has the top pair, but with the worst kicker. Does he want to get involved with so many people behind him?
Well, you look at, there's no draw out there, right? And if somebody's betting this, unless they have a complete
And there he
bluff,
folds, yep.
unless they have completely nothing, they either have an ace, which I can't beat because I have ace deuce, or they have a 9, and I can't beat the 9.
Right.
So. Nice bet by Diablo there. Once again, please vote for your biggest bluff of the night by emailing us at live@thebike.com.
Well, here, take a look at our first chip count of the night. So Diablo way out in the lead there when he doubled through Joe. And Joe's got 4,500, but he did, rebuy for 5,000.
Yeah, well, Diablo only bought in for 5,000. He's already up $4,200.
Yeah.
And he's only been in this game for about 20 minutes.
And Kevin took a beating when he lost there with the kings against the Track.
Yeah.
Pocket kings here again. This time it's for Track win in seat 5. And he's going to raise it 100 out of the big blind.
Man, I tell you, Kevin is taking what a seesaw there. Kevin, he had 2,500, now down to 8. I mean,
Yeah.
all over the place.
Now, Tommy Huffnagel limped and then called, so he's got to have a pretty big hand. He has ace-queen, and he's going to see it heads up. Well, 10-9 deuce.
That's no help for Tommy.
Track's going to bet. And Track is going to take it down. In fact, we're getting word that before Tony in Kevin Kim in seat 4 lost that pot to Track, he was up to 3,500. So
Yeah, like I said, right before the webcast began, he won a huge hand with a set of 7s.
Yeah.
And he won about a $3,000 pot. So to see him down to 800 is
And then he won another big pot against Track. when
Right.
He had
the 9-7,
yeah,
10-9.
Yeah, 10-9.
So. Well, there's no Jesus and no Ed in this game, and no Dimitri, but this game's got action.
So it's limped around here 4 ways. Where's Barry Woods? It's like, where's
He's
Waldo?
actually in Colorado.
Ah,
He's in Vail visiting his son. His son is a snowboard instructor.
oh, one of those guys.
100.
$100 bet here by Jeff. He's playing ace-5. Those are the guys that, live at a ski resort, get paid about $100 a week, smoke pot all day, and live in an apartment with 25 other guys, right?
Right,
In their
but-
early 20s.
As long as you're not generalizing.
Look at this. Track peeled for a gut shot, and he got it on the turn.
Wow. Well, now, Jeff, Jeff's not real strong here, but
Right. And he's going to get check raised. And again, the problem with going against, these draws against really tight players is, are you really going to get paid off? I mean, he called that bet to basically hit a 4-outer. He hit it, but is he going to make 4 times what the bet size was on the flop?
see, that's the thing.
And implied odds.
When Doyle Brunson in Super System, he likes to say, if I'm going for a big draw like that, I want my opponent to have a set. I want him to
Right.
have 2 pairs.
Jeff folds.
I thought for you. Jack 9.
I sold you.
Button moves over here to seat 5.
I got straight.
Getting word that Yoshi Nakano was going to dress up like Pimp Daddy. You know what? I was here last year for Halloween. He dressed up like Pimp Daddy last year, too. I think he's Pimp Daddy every year.
You want to sleep?
Hey, you know what? If you've got money, you can be Pimp Daddy.
Right.
I could never get away with it, though.
Hey, Devin. Hey, he's quiet. They got to make
Ace King here for seat 2. King Queen for Ace Queen for Martin, and Martin just limps in, and seat 2 is going to raise. He's going to make it 100 to go. Jeff. Boy, Martin's played it pretty passively. He's got a late position, just going to limp in with the Ace Queen. I mean, some people would even pull the limp re-raise here, Dave. Well, he's just
Jeff's
gonna
played
call.
pretty solid up till now, though.
Here we go. Wow, King, Queen, 9.
Nice flop for Ace King. Not as good as like Ace Deuce Deuce.
Right.
But nice flop for him. Should be pretty easy for Martin to get away from this one.
Martin checks.
Then
Jeff
again-
calls 200, and he immediately calls.
What
with
do I
Ace
know?
Queen. $600 pot here.
And he's in huge trouble here, but turns an ace.
Oh, the turn's a jack.
That's a one-liner there. Any 10 makes a straight.
Well, Martin's going to check. Jeff looks like he's going to bet. It's a $600 pot.
Jeff is the kind of player where he keeps betting unless somebody tells him he's behind. And I like that kind of style.
Well, he's going to bet here.
He's not
400.
scared of the check. He doesn't play scared of the check raise. If he gets check raised, he'll cross that bridge when he comes to it.
And Martin folds.
Wow. Gotta tell you, I haven't seen Jeff Gruber before, but I'm really impressed with his play up till now.
Thank you.
Now you want it.
Yeah.
Five. Finally, you want
Button moves over to seat 6.
it. Gotta block. You block one time? Now you gotta block 2 times in order to get ahead of the...
Not a lot of talk here at the table, Dave.
No, it's quiet.
Time.
So I'm kind of looking forward to this weekend of football. The Jets are off,
100.
so it'll be an easier weekend to get through.
Diablo has raised here to 100. He's got 10-7 offsuit. Track calls with King 9.
2 players.
And we're heads up.
Yeah, the problem with sometimes going for it, like when Track did before, Jack 5 flop here. Diablo's probably going to continue with his betting and take it down, I'd imagine.
200.
Bets 200. Unless Track is going to make a move by either calling or raising, calling with the intention to raise later on, he's got nothing here.
Yeah, I think he's going to let it go. But like you correctly pointed out before, when he called with going for that gut shot, the chances of you hitting it are very small. Now, if you knew that if you hit it, you were going to get paid off huge, that would be great. But it's one of those things where you don't know how strong your opponent is. Your opponent might be bluffing. Your opponent, like in that case, Jeff only had a weak ace before, so it was kind of,
Right.
why go for it? Strange.
The next one, I'll give you the 5.
I know Isaac was trying to tell us what the turn in the river was going to be. What would it have been?
Running 9s.
Running 9s. There you
Yeah.
go.
I don't know how King 9 gets involved with that hand, though, with that flop, but
Yeah, I mean, even on the, it's funny.
even on the
Even if
turn.
he sticks around to the turn and the river,
Right.
he still can't even play it aggressive on the river.
Right, because the
it's
board's
Jack,
double
Jack,
paired.
9-9, right.
Right.
He pretty much can only beat a bluff.
5 players.
But it would have been interesting had he stuck around.
5-way action. Pocket 8's over there for seat 1. He just limped in. King, queen, 4, couple clubs. No one has a king, no one has a queen. He gets checked around, turns an ace. You wonder if Martin would have bet here on the turn, but... And again, Martin's hand is still good.
And now Kevin didn't fire out of that flush draw, huh?
And now Track says he's picked up a flush draw and he's going to bet. And he's going to take it down.
What's the power of the semi-bluff there?
Well, Track Win, he's been involved with a lot of tournaments, Dave?
Yeah, he's a tournament player. Local tournament player. I'm not sure about success worldwide. But we can check him out. Let's see.
I'm sick. I'm gonna pass out. I need the red press.
King, queen, couple of high Broadway cards here.
Hey, Diablo's got Jack 10 suited, Jack 10 of diamonds there. And it gets limped around.
5 players.
5-way action, $100 pot. Ace, 8, 7, couple spades.
Now, there's no ace out there. I think Martin has the best hand with 8-5.
Well, no one bets. Turns a 10. Track's open-ended now.
100.
And Diablo, I believe, has the best hand here with Jack 10.
And he's going to bet 100. He has a gut shot to the 9 now as well.
Tommy's got a gut shot as well. Jack would give him the nut straight. Plus, he's got overcards. Basically, any paint comes out, and Tommy's good.
And it looks like Track is going to call. Tommy's out of there. So we're heads up here. Jack 10 against Queen 9. And the river's a 9, and Diablo makes the straight. And Track has made a pair. Pot's about $300. Are these the types of... And Diablo's going to bet 250. Are these the types of rivers that like an aggressive tournament player might make a raise, a bluff raise at? Didn't know that Diablo has a jack here? Would we be
He
surprised
might, yeah.
to see if Track makes a move here? It's a $250
I mean, it wouldn't have been a
bet.
bad spot for Diablo to check to induce the bluff either, would it?
Well, he's going to get away from it.
I mean, Track's a pretty aggressive player. Might you want to check there? Induce him to bluff.
Well, I think because Track hit a pair, he might have just checked right behind him.
Maybe, but we saw with 970 didn't do
Right.
that, you know?
Slice, please. Slice.
Button moves over there to seat 1.
Just one there. Yeah, with big one.
Limp on the button there, Dave. First in the hand, he has an ace.
100 straight.
And Diablo's going to raise with Jack 10 of spades. And you know what? Martin has ace 9 on the button. He limped in. And everyone folds. Oh, excuse me. Jeff is still in there.
I like Diablo's aggressive play here. He's taking control of the hand. And he's got Jeff dominated.
And Jeff calls. Wow, hearts. Ace, ace, deuce. And he's going to bet.
200.
He bets 200 here.
Well, oftentimes a raise in the big blind is sometimes a pair. People are trying to, you know, maybe using the ace as a scare card.
Thank you.
People have kind of quieted down since those last big
Hey,
hands that we've been
Bob.
having.
Man, I'm checking the Hendon Mob poker database.
Yep.
And there's like a million wins.
Right.
Nick win, P win, Pi win, Peter
164
win,
to be.
Phi win.
And Win is a Vietnamese name, right?
Yeah. Tai win. Man.
50.
Button raised to 50. He's got pocket 4s.
And there's track win. Local tournament pro.
And seat number 4 is going to call with Queen 6 offsuit. And Track is in there with Deuce 8 suited. Wow. Kings,
Well, like a lot of
10,
tournament
7.
players, you know, he's going to get a lot of chips or he's going to crash and burn.
Well, Jeff's hand here is still good.
Well, he's in position, and we saw with the pocket 3s earlier, if they check it to him, he's going to bet.
100.
Love
he
it.
does. He bets 200.
I mean, if you're going to raise with pocket 4s, that's the way to play it. He takes it down. Man, I got to tell you, I'm going to be like a cheerleader for Jeff here. I love his style. Really do.
One more out there. Yeah.
Thinking about dressing up as a cheerleader for Halloween, Dave?
Yeah, only if you'll be my football player.
Button moves over here to seat 3.
Pocket jacks for Huang there. And I believe Huang just limped in with pocket jacks. Wow. And he was in pretty much middle position. If the button is in seat 3, and seat 4 with pocket aces, Kevin Kim is going to raise it
look
up.
at that. Pocket aces. So is Huang going to pull the limp re-raise? He just calls.
Yeah.
Just calls.
Well, jacks are very vulnerable. We
Not
know that.
pulling the limp re-raise.
No, he chose to play him kind of soft and see what happens.
So we're heads up if we see a ragged board. Now the thing is, Kevin is not that deep, Dave. He probably only has maybe 700 left. King 9 Queen. This
Man,
might
what a
be-
great flop for jacks. I mean,
Yeah.
in this case.
get him to get away from it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're not going to hit your jack, that's a great flop for him.
100.
And he bets 100.
Kind of a weak bet into a $250 pot.
And he calls with the jacks. He's got a gut shot to the 10. The turn to 9. And that really helps aces, doesn't it? That really helps the hand, and he's going to move all in.
Well, it helps him in his mind, right?
Right.
If the guy had king queen, it's no
Right.
good anymore.
He's going to move in for about 500 here, Dave. The pot,
Because obviously his ace is up right now.
Right.
Now, in this case, obviously, it makes no difference.
yeah, the pot is about 900. It's 500 for Huang to call.
The problem is, what can Huang beat? Can't beat a king, can't beat a 9 now, and can't beat a queen. He can't beat jack 10. What can he beat?
Ace jack, ace 10.
Okay, there you go. I mean, you're trying to find hands you can beat, right?
Right.
He can beat pocket 10s,
90.
and he can beat a pair lower than 9s.
Again, it's about a $900 pot, 500 to call.
Yeah, there's just not much you can beat here if you have pocket jacks.
And look at Joe when he colored up those chips. Look how much he's got in front of him now.
It looks pretty impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he bought in for more, by the way.
Yeah.
That's definitely, he's got over 10,000 in front of him.
Again, like you said, there's just nothing you can beat out there with jacks.
Well, you got to start thinking of the hands this guy might have, and Kevin Kim is,
And he's going to fold.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you start thinking about all the hands this guy might have, and you go, wow, out of maybe the 10 possible hands he might have, I can beat 2.
Right.
Yeah. He throw it away. And while the river would have been a 10, giving, and that would have given Huang the straight. Wow.
Look at this. We got another guy that wants to be a host on this show, Dave. Skrillions on 2+2. Or Skrill Lions, however you want to pronounce it.
Well, he says, what do I have to be a guest host on the show? The first thing is not insult the commentators.
Right.
Or at least if you're going to do it intelligently like Jive does.
100 is
And
the
Jive Dadson, obviously, for anybody who is not familiar, is one of our biggest critics on 2plus2.com. And
2 players.
we kind of love him.
Track raised out of the blind. Oh, wow. And Tommy called out of the other blind. Both players have hit their aces, and both of them have trips.
Yeah, look at that. The
300.
third and fourth ace come out.
Track bets 300 here.
Now, this is one of those hands
Tommy
where it would be
calls.
really exciting if you're sitting at the table, but a lot less exciting from our vantage point.
Turn is the king. Now, track bet and Tommy called. What do you put Tommy on right now? Because Tommy's a really
Tommy?
tight player.
An ace.
Well, the turn is a king.
There's no question. Tommy's got to have an ace. Actually, if I'm track,
All in.
And he's going to move all in. And Tommy calls.
All in and a call.
I mean, I got to tell you, if I'm track, I'm actually worried when Tommy calls me that I'm probably out-kicked.
Right. Or he's got something like a set of sixes for a full house.
Well, you know he's not in there with hearts.
Chop it up. All that drama.
And you see, I mean, Tommy wasn't slow playing his hand. He was worried that the guy had an ace with a bigger kicker, possibly.
You think so? He just smooth called the flop. I
Yeah, I
think he
don't-
might have been trying to trap.
Do you? I don't know. It's one of those hands where it's hard to trap. I mean, I'm just saying Tommy's aware of the fact that there's a chance this guy has an ace also.
Yeah.
You know, can't be oblivious to the fact that, you know,
One more thing.
I have
jackpot.
trips. What does this guy have? A 6? Well, I'll let him
One
bluff
more
off
thing,
his money
jackpot
with a
or no?
6.
No?
Actually, Dave, we got word from a couple people, and I forgot to mention that Mo finished
The table are going to play.
really high in one of the
Oh, yeah.
tournament series events here in town.
Yes, in the
$9,000.
recent one there,
Right.
in the Poker October one.
Right.
We had a nice $9,000 finish and finished in, I want to say, 5th place.
We had an email here from David Moxness. Of course, you can email us at live@thebike.com.
Well, we were pretty hard on Mo yesterday's game and everything. But like I always say, I mean, I love Mo. I think I have the utmost respect for his game.
Now look at this track raised to 200 from the button with ace jack of diamonds. Tony mucked pocket eights in the blind
Wow.
quickly. And I got to say, Tony might get the prize for being like the tightest person that we've ever seen. You let Tony, Dr. Beebe. Dr. Beebe tends to mix it up a bit, but Tony,
Oh, man.
he really does. And Walter's pretty tight too.
Man, you look up the word knit in a dictionary. Tony's face right there. And I like Tony, too. And back to what I was saying about Mo there. I have the utmost respect for his play, but he's not above criticism. You know, everybody
Right.
has bad days, and, you know, we're just trying to be honest here. At least it's our opinion. Button is in seat 6. That's Tommy Huffnagel. Mr. Huffnagel.
Again, Dave, I want to plug Ron Rose's book on here, Poker Aces, not because of Ron Rose, but because of another author that has written a book that will not give us a copy of this book. So again, here we go. Ron Rose's book, Poker Aces.
It's actually a great book.
Right.
Yeah, it really is. It's the Stars of Tournament Poker, and it's got like I want to say like a couple hundred pages of like filled with some of the
Now,
big
we
names.
just talked about Tony being one of the tightest players ever on Live at the Bike. He's raced to 200 out of the small blind. What do you think he has?
and everybody else is limped in.
Right.
Get me ripped off. Hey,
Take it down, Tony.
Yeah.
Rattles love it, huh?
You know what though? I mean, Tony had one of the tightest players, but we saw him last night play, and he still got action. I mean, amazing. He still won about $2,000 last night. You know.
Well, it was from David there who moved into seat 9, and I actually had a talk with David today. He said he didn't know Tony's play at all, and he said he put Tony on a bluff.
Right.
And I, you know, a lot of times I'll interact with people and have conversations about their play, but you know, we kind of know David, and I just left it alone.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, one of the most important things to do is when you're playing no limit hold'em, especially, is
Oh.
to really get a feel for the players
Know
you're
your
playing
players.
against. Yeah.
Yeah.
Focus on them, watch them.
I mean, Jack 7.
Well, if you put the guy on a bluff, you put the guy on a bluff. It doesn't make a difference what you have. You know, if you have top pair and you think he's got nothing,
100.
hey,
We got a raise here by track win to 100. 5-8 suited.
Three players.
Here we go. Three-way action. $300 pot. Joe and Kevin both call. 9-7-4.
Kevin's got the best hand here with 4-5.
Well, Track's got a gut shot.
And Joe's got overcards with a backdoor flush draw.
Track bets 200. And Joe calls with the overcards.
Well, he often calls on the flop to set up a play on the turn.
Two players.
And you know what? He's got the best hand.
$700 pot. Turns an ace.
By him calling, got Kevin to fold
Look
his
at
four.
this. And check, and the river's a deuce. And Track can't beat anything now.
Yeah. Joe takes it down, queen high.
They just checked it down. Track gave up at the end.
Well, track win, Joe win. You know, hey, all these wins, they're all related.
In some fashion.
I guess so. I don't know. Hey, aren't we all related in some fashion? Right? We're all brothers from a different mother?
Right. The Garden of Eden.
Well, I don't want to get into that.
When these two players get into a hand heads up, it's a win-win situation, Dave. There's no losers.
Ba-dum-bump. Man, and the hits just keep on coming.
Buttons in seat 8.
Six players.
Six-way action. $120 pot. 9-7-4.
Seat 1, actually, Martin Doss has got a 9. He's got 9 deuce.
70.
Yep. He checks, and Jeff bets on second pair. He bets 70.
And you see the difference there. Martin, he plays it passively right from the start. And now he has no idea where he's at.
Look at this. Kevin and Track both call with
30
overcards.
change.
Well, it's not a scary flop. They figure if I hit my king and my Kevin, or if I hit my queen, I'm okay.
Well,
but look at this. They're
Oh,
both
now Track and Kevin are getting into a battle here.
Check.
Both of them have top pair. Jeff has checked. Martin, by the way, folded top pair on the flop. The
Well, he
pot's
has to. Once he checks
Right.
it and he gets,
150.
bet, call. What are you going to do with 9 deuce?
Pot's about $300, and now Kevin's bet 150. Pot's now 450, 150 to call.
You know, and I got to tell you, if you're Track here, it's hard to put Kevin on a hand like King Queen when
Right.
he calls the flop.
Well, he's going to call. Pot is now $600. Jeff is out of there. Heads up between these two guys again. The river's at 3.
See how hard Kevin pushes.
Well, do you put Track on some sort of straight draw that might have just been completed there with a 3?
5-6.
Yeah.
200.
He could.
Kevin's going to bet
A lot of
200
draws
here.
out there. I mean, he could have 6-8. He could have Jack 10.
And he's going to get a quick call here. And Kevin's going to take down a $1,000 pot with King Queen. And again, boy, that's got to look really strange when he turns that over with that flop bet.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's not always incorrect to call with overcards, though.
Right.
And once again, Jeff Gruber's play there in seat 2. He bets out his second pair, thinking it might be the best hand. When he gets called in 2 spots, he kind of shuts down, and he throws it away.
You know, it is funny, CW Siggy on 2+2 actually put up as a joke post, I believe. All the wins play under the same bankroll. But isn't there that story that Men the Master literally bankrolls a ton of these Vietnamese guys that he brings over, teaches them poker, and then kind of gets a piece of their tournament winnings for their life?
I'm
5
sure.
players.
Yeah,
I mean, I know he puts in a lot of players into each tournament.
right.
Especially the small local tournaments.
Yeah. 5-way action here, limped around again. Martin's got top pair there in seat 1. And again, he doesn't bet.
And when you don't bet, it's tough to know where am I now?
And Diablo bets with an open-ended straight draw, or a gut shot.
I mean, unless Martin's thinking of doing a check raise there. But with 4-5 and 2 clubs out there,
Yeah.
do you really want to get tricky with this hand?
The action's back over to Martin, and he just calls. And Jeff calls with the gut shot. The turn's a 10. King 8 is still good.
And Martin checks it again.
And now Diablo is going to bet. He's picked up a double gutter here. He can
Yeah, he
catch
needs
a 6 or a 9.
right.
And he bets 300.
And Martin is playing this about as weak passive as you can play it, huh?
Yeah.
Weak, tight passive.
Diablo takes it down. Look at that. He's got the Omega Plumbing jacket on the chair, backed with the Omega Plumbing t-shirt.
Yeah, he's got the whole line out there.
Right.
The other one's in. So that means that you gotta do it.
Actually,
Absolutely.
the other thing too, Dave, is people that watch the show on Wednesday, and I was actually talking to you about this after the show because you weren't here. Shirley was the fact that Bruce Parker and Ken Berg, the two whales in the game, were complaining that Ed Shaughnazarian left the game early. Like he was kind of doing a hit and run. And we were talking about how it's just a dumb argument. You want to have the fish, or, what is a weak player pretty much, come in. It might have a winning session, and just let him come and go as he pleases.
Well, if it's
and
a
Diablo was
right.
trying to defend Ed against Bruce Parker on Wednesday.
Kevin Kim raised up with queens here. I don't think he's going to get any action. Well,
Diablo's
I know.
going to call with Queen 10.
It's like an iPod.
Here we go. Diablo's in real bad shape. King 9-5, couple hearts.
Let's see if Diablo tries anything here. He picks his spots usually, though. I think he's going to throw this away.
What do you know? He's going to make the call.
Once again, he's got a gut shot.
Yeah. Could
Jack
catch
completes a
here.
straight.
Turns a 5. Kevin's going to bet again here.
Kind of a small bet here. Kind of a scared bet, isn't it?
Yeah, he bets 100 into about a $400 pot. Diablo's going to muck. It's enough.
I don't like the bear.
Kind of a tell there. Yeah, I mean, it's important if there's a player in the game that you perceive as a fish or you perceive as a provider, so to speak. It's important that they win once in a while.
Right.
Because if they always lose, well, they're not going to play in your game anymore.
Right.
They've got to win once in a while. And Yosh correctly knew that. I mean, he was defending him too. He was like, this is what you want this guy in the game. What do you want us to get rid of Ed and we'll bring in Barry Greenstein?
Yeah.
Call.
Couple whimpers here.
Raise.
And pocket kings here for seat 4. In the big blind.
150.
He's going to make it 150. Kevin Kim.
Man, queens, kings, aces. This guy's getting some big hands.
Now,
huh?
Track Wind's got ace 10 off suit, and he's been playing a lot of hands, and he makes the quick call there in early position.
Now, you wonder if that price is in Tony here.
Well, Tony does have at least 1,500 in front of him.
Well, he's got sevens, too. I mean, the one thing about that is if you hit your set, you know you're probably good.
He's got more like maybe even 2,000 to 2,500 in front of him.
Yeah.
I would think he'd want to make this call.
What do you know?
Well, Tony is as tight as they come.
And Diablo throws away king 10 out of position. I really like that laydown.
Players.
Heads up here, ace 10 against pocket kings, about a $400 pot. Queen 5-6, couple spades. Now remember, Kevin check raised last time when it was against these two with the overpair. This time he bets.
Yeah.
$17,000. You kept on
And Track folds.
for a long time?
It was interesting on that hand also that Track, when he had trip queens, bet right into it when he got checked.
Yeah.
too.
No slow play at all.
Well, because it is a little bit peculiar when somebody raises you, even if they're on a position, and you call for them not to lead in. You get a
You
flop
mean
like,
heads up, that
you get a
is.
flop like queen, queen 5, and he's almost like checking. I'm going to bet my 3 queens because I almost think that you're going to check raise. I put you almost on an overpair right now.
Right.
That you're trying to trap.
But the scary thing is that you're only scared that he has ace queen because he's
Right, well,
what is he
yeah.
slow playing?
Right.
And in that case, heads up if you fly.
But again, I got to tell you, heads up. I mean, obviously, it depends on how deep you are.
Heads up, you're going to go broke
A lot of
there.
times you're going to go broke with trips because your head's up.
Yeah.
I mean, the cards fall that way sometimes, but it's really rare.
Yeah. And the nights they fall that way, it's just not your night.
Right.
4 players.
4-way action here. 9-5-4. Again, Martin there in seat 1 in late position had king queen, chose just to limp. Limp in to open the pot there, Dave, with king queen in late
120.
position. And he checks, and Diablo's going to bet here with a flush draw and a pair.
Yeah, it's a nice flop for Diablo. If you're going to be in there with 10-4 spades, why not?
I mean, isn't king queen good enough to open the pot there?
Yeah, Martin. It's important if you're going to play a tight, solid. I mean, obviously, we always say, oh, wow, he's tight, or he's aggressive, or he's loose, or he's passive. And obviously, there are a lot of players that are very tight, but very solid and great. I mean, Tommy Hufnagel, very tight.
Right.
But he's solid. I think Jeff Gruber, pretty tight player, but very solid. Martin Das, tight, but weak tight and a little passive.
Ace-queen suited here for seat 3.
And we're getting something here from Bicycles Biatch, talking about people getting paid off, like players like Nicole or Tony
Right.
or Dr. BB. And anybody familiar with Live at the Bike knows these players. It amazes me also that these players get paid off. Because if you're sitting in the game and you watch them, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you lose money, a big pot to these players, you have nobody to blame but yourself.
Right. Yeah, thanks for that, Trisha. Oh, I mean Bicycles Biatch. Diablo takes it down.
Could be Jesse tonight, you never know.
Yeah. And Russ McGinley here on 2+2 makes an interesting observation because Skrillian said that he wants to come in and audition to be the host of the show. And Russ McGinley says, send in a videotape describing why you'd be best for the show, like a Survivor audition tape. Be witty and interesting. Also post it up on the web. Oh, go ahead. That sounds like a great idea.
Don't. I'm actually worried I'd lose my job. And I like my job.
Diablo limps here.
I guess I like Diablo's post-flop play. He's really improved in that area as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he used to be, like you said, one of those providers before, but now he knows what he's doing.
I mean, sometimes he pays off a little bit too much. We saw about a week ago he paid off like $2,000 to Ed with just top pair.
Well, yeah, but, it's Ed. But the thing is that we've seen Jesus and Ed, who've been playing on the show just as long as Diablo, make calls with top pair without even thinking about it. Diablo actually thought about that King 9.
Oh, when he
he
had two
didn't
pair,
instantly
top two
call.
pair.
With top 2 pair.
Yeah.
He was thinking it through. I mean, I always get on... It's so funny because I always get on Barry Woods' case, and he is getting better. And usually in the lineup, he's one of the stronger players in this lineup, depending on what the lineup is. And I was talking to Shirley Mew about this. He's never had an instance where he's laid down an overpair or top pair, top kicker. So I can't say that he's got a great read and he's just great at calling, and because we've nothing to compare it to. He's never folded.
Now this game's obviously filled with some pros, but it's filled with enough weak players that I guess calling with top pair or an overpair every single time, you can be successful in this game.
Well, you told me that yesterday, and I thought about it. At first, I was like, really? But then when you look and think about it...
Exactly. You'd think that you have to get away from big hands, but Barry Woods is probably up. I mean, I didn't want to say it in case the IRS is listening, but he's up a lot of money over the last 6 months.
Right. I mean, obviously, if the game was a lot tougher, you've got to make those laydowns.
Without a doubt.
Right. Pot here.
I mean, if Tommy Huffnagel or Tony are moving in, you shouldn't be calling a top pair.
No. Jack 9-3 here. The pot was limped around.
We got a couple of open-ended straight draws here.
8-10 and Queen 10.
Yep.
And Joe's going to bet here with second pair. He bets 80.
Good bet by Joe. He can't assume that anybody has a jack. And
what is Huang? Kevin's going to call with the open-ended straight draw.
Right.
Track is in there.
And Huang's out.
Yeah. Pot's about 350 now.
A lot of cards to dodge.
Turn is in 8, and there's the straight for Kevin in seat 4. But Joe's picked up the nut flush draw.
Now, this could get interesting. So I don't know if Track's going to go anywhere so quickly, because he's got now a pair with an open-ended straight draw.
Pot is about 350. And Joe bets about the pot.
Wow.
So the pot is now 700. About 350 to call.
Now, Kevin's in good shape here. As long as he can dodge a diamond or queen, he'll take this entire pot down.
Now, is he going to raise here? He's got a guy behind him. There's a couple diamonds, but like you said, it was backdoor. It was a rainbow flop.
And he's got the absolute nuts right now.
He just calls. Just calls. Well, let's see what Track does now.
Track looks confused. Kind of like he ate something funny.
Pot is now over 1,000. He makes the call. $1,400 here.
Man, I tell you, if
the
a
river.
7 of diamonds comes off, we're going to see fireworks.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be incredible. But just any diamond, though, I think Kevin's
or any
going
7.
broke. And the river is an ace. But look at this. Joe's made 2 pair now. It's a $1,400 pot.
Oh, man.
And he bets only $300 here into a $1,400 pot. That's almost like a defensive bet. And Kevin quickly moves all in over the top.
And Kevin doesn't have that many chips. I don't know if Joe can get away from this. I mean, Kevin's got the absolute nuts.
Well, he's got $1,700 pot. He moves all in for about, I want to say, maybe 600 to 800 more. Well, actually, he's got white chips there, Dave.
Well, that's the call, though, isn't
Right,
it?
you got to bring in the money in, and then we'll see how much is left. He's got about 1,000 left. So the pot is about 2,700. 1,000 for Joe Wynn to call with ace-9 here.
Now, this is what you got to try to figure out. Is this guy making a play? Is this guy capable of making a play on the river without the nuts or really close to it? You know?
Yeah.
And that's what knowing your players is all about.
So again, about a $2,700 pot, 1,000 for Joe Wynn to call.
And Joe's got to try to replay this hand in his head. Okay, the guy called me on the flop. What might he have?
Smooth called the turn.
Smooth called turn, and then he's
Queen
all
10.
in.
Screams Queen 10, doesn't it? Could he have something like ace-3? Could he have stuck around? You would have heard from him if he had ace-jack.
I mean, you think ace-jack, maybe?
Don't you think you would have heard from him?
Well, I mean, you remember, you got to think, he's got a strong enough hand where he's moving all in now.
Right. But, I mean, wouldn't he have made some sort of play with ace-jack on the flop or on the turn? I mean, there's no way he just smooth calls twice. I just think that this hand screams Queen 10. Or could he, maybe he had the same hand with ace-9. But again, what are the chances of that?
Right. I mean, the other hand I can think of, but I'm not sure if Kevin is capable of doing this play. I know Track is. If Kevin had like 10-8,
Yeah.
or it's open-ended, picked up a pair, basically Track's hand, and then realized that his pair of eights was no good and had to make a play on it. You know, trying to represent the ace also, because remember, it's hard to put Joe on an ace here. You probably put Joe on a jack. You know, Joe might have Queen Jack, King Jack, Jack 10.
Again, if this is played the other way around and a diamond comes in, Joe makes the call. He's going to make the call. And the pot is almost $4,000, and Kevin takes it down there with the nut straight.
Yeah.
There it is.
I mean, I would say that's not a bad play, even if Joe has just a jack there.
Yeah.
Tough to call because you can represent that ace. Man. Bad river card for Joe.
Yeah.
Gets him sucked in.
Again, because the board was rainbow there, Dave, it seems to me like the most likely hand really would be Queen 10, and then maybe you think he has ace 9. But do you want to make the call to hope for a chop pot? Any other hand is just strange unless it's a total move on the river.
Well, yeah,
and you've got to
like I
put
was
the
gonna say,
range
like,
of hands.
You
know?
wonder, like, let's say Kevin wasn't in the hand and Track was there with 10-8. Does Track make a move on the river after he misses his draw?
Right.
You gotta wait for the iPad.
I mean, two pair, it's tough sometimes.
And Joe's just getting picked on tonight, huh?
Yeah, and he's going to take a little break. Still sitting there, but he's going to take an out
Got an
button
out
for a
button.
second.
Yeah. I mean, Joe actually kind of really stepped up into this game. He doesn't really have a lot of no-limit experience. He's only been playing the game, Dave, for, 3 months?
Yeah.
People don't seem to realize that.
But he's been playing limit hold'em for years.
Right.
But his no-limit experience is very limited.
Right.
You've been involved in the biggest hand so far. 4 billion with this guy.
Three-way action here. I believe the Diablo opened this pot up. He made it 100. And the flop comes King 9 Jack. He has a gut shot. And he bets. Now let's see how Tony... Is Tony just going to immediately get away from this with the ace Jack, Dave? He's got backdoor spade.
It's Diablo betting.
He's in position.
It's Diablo betting. If somebody else had bet, you know... If
I mean,
Tommy bets, I think.
I got to be honest with you. I'm surprised Tony made the call pre-flop. Full call ace Jack on the button.
He outflopped him. Diablo's obviously got a lot of outs, though.
What does he do? Do you raise here to find some information out? Because Diablo's the type that actually will keep firing at you if you just call to see what happens.
Right.
Look at that. He's going to fold. I mean, the problem with ace-jack, though, is if you're going to call, even against Diablo, who might be bringing it in.
Yeah, it's not a bad call, though,
With the
because he's got the ace of spades. He can also
Right.
represent spades.
Well, I was going to say, if you're going to call with that hand, you've got to find some information out, right?
Well, I got to be
In
honest.
position.
Right, but I don't mind a smooth call if he's going to represent spades as well.
No, I agree with you, but I'm
Oh.
saying that maybe folding is actually the worst choice there. I don't know. I mean, your head's up. What I'm saying is if you're going to call with ace-jack on the button, I mean, folding to a king 9 jack flop heads up all the time isn't going to. I don't think it's going to cut it all
Yeah,
the
I
time.
mean, the only
you
thing I
know?
could say about Tony is, I mean, he's playing there. He's looking for, unbeatable hands.
Right.
And until the day comes where he stops getting paid off for those unbeatable hands,
Mm-hmm.
hey, why not continue that strategy? I might adopt it myself. I mean, I'm a lot more loose aggressive than Tony is. But I might change my style where I only play one hand every hour because I'm going to get paid off anyway.
$150 raise here by Track.
30 more.
Pocket tens.
No, one.
It's on him.
5 pans,
And one thing Bicycles Biatch on 2+2X is let the fish have their day. That way they get bigger for when you finally do fillet and fry them. And I like to always say, here, take my money, I'll get it back later with interest.
Look at this. Jeff makes the call with ace-10 out of position, and he spikes the ace.
Well, that was about even money, wasn't it?
Let's see how he plays it. He's going to bet right into it. Oh, wow. Track's going to call. He's going to call, Dave. And he needs one out, the remaining 10. The turn is an 8. Pot's about $1,000. And now if you're Jeff, what do you think Track has?
Now, ace-10 versus pocket tens, that was a big hand in the World Series this year.
Yeah.
That
Sammy
was the-
Farha against that actor. I forget
Yeah,
his name.
first hand of the day.
And look
Flop
at
comes
this.
out ace-10 to ace-ace-10.
Jeff has bet 500 here. Half the... well, 500 into about a $600 pot. Yeah, Track's going to get away from it.
And takes it down, Jeff. Not a big fan of the pre-flop call with ace-10 offsuit.
Yeah, limp pre.
But I like this post-flop play.
As opposed to check raising the flop.
Yeah, I like you and me. We like betting our hands generally. Obviously, there are times to check raise, but
Well, look at Diablo.
Wasn't it?
Over 10,000. And Joe Wynn, well, we have him at 9,200. I don't know if that's after what he lost last time. So he's got to be in there, Dave, for a lot of money. I mean, he's in second place in the chip standings, but he has to have lost at least $5,000.
Oh, he's lost more than that. He's probably in for about 17 now.
No, but I mean actually lost.
He's probably lost almost 8, I want to say.
8,000.
I mean,
so he's in for about 17.
He's lost
and lost
3
about
big
8.
pots now.
Yeah. Okay.
Diablo is up 6,000 on the night.
Yeah. And Track and seat 4 there keep going back and forth.
I mean,
Kevin
this
and
is a
Track.
pretty big game. I mean, Huang has the smallest chip count, and he has 1,700.
Well, all right. Let's not put the cards up here yet. Tony's raised from seat 7,
Okay, Tony, you can have the iPad.
What do you think he might have? I don't know.
and everybody's folded.
I mean, you got to put him on what? Kings, queens, ace, king.
There we go.
There you go.
iPad, no, and that part too. You can have that pot and the iPad.
Tony, I don't know if I've ever seen Tony really make a move, Dave.
All right.
I mean, he's pretty easy as it comes.
I got to tell you, I paid off Tony one time probably 4 or 5 months ago, and now that I watch him, I want to just hit myself for paying him off.
Yeah.
Man, what was I thinking?
I think Jerry's going to get the
You got money and you're still gambling for money, so what's the difference?
Pocket tens here for Tommy Halfnagel. He's going to limp with the tens. And everybody's going to limp.
I don't mind the play. I mean, he's in somewhat early middle position.
5-way action.
The type of player he has no problem getting away from the hand if he doesn't like the flop.
Jack 8-6. Well, do you throw a bet out here now with one over card?
I think you have to.
It is limped around.
Bet
But
100.
but look at this. Seat 5 just comes right back to the hand. I don't even know if he's looked at his cards, and he's going to bet 100 here.
With bottom pair.
Bottom pair. Now, do you raise if you're Tommy, or are you just going to not get involved because it's a limped pot and there are people behind you?
Yeah, I think players behind him, he doesn't want to get involved.
Jeff actually has a better hand. He's not going to get involved. Look, Diablo Muck second pair.
Yeah, the one consistency among good players is good players, they don't play with their egos. They check their ego at the door. Tommy has no problem getting bluffed out of a hand. He doesn't really care. About 2 weeks ago, he got bluffed out with deuce 7. Remember when Jesus had deuce 7 and basically nothing. I think he had a pair of 2s, and he got Tommy off a pair of 9s. And Tommy
Right.
just shrugs his shoulders. He doesn't care. He knows that eventually he'll get him.
call.
Who do the Patsies play this weekend?
They're playing Buffalo. It's a Sunday night game.
Ooh,
Yeah.
should be a good game.
There's my call.
Like I said, I'm not too worried because I know the Patriots will make the playoffs because they'll win the AFC East. And then when the playoffs start, hey, it's game. You got Tom Brady, you got the experience. The only question is, could they ever beat Indy this year on turf?
Yeah.
You know?
We'll see. They actually play Indianapolis next week.
Yes, Monday night. And that, of course, we're going to keep away from the 2+2 threat. So Bart can have some sanity and TiVo the game.
Yeah. I change and everything.
We have a raise here by the cutoff, I believe. And look at this. He raised with King 10, Jeff did, because Martin had limped with Ace 10.
And the cutoff.
One minus the cutoff.
What is that position called?
Right
One minus
before
the
the cutoff. Yeah. Or the cutoff -1. That's what I meant to say.
I like that.
And he limp calls. Cutoff -1. He's
Oh, that's
picked
a
up
pretty
nut
good
flush
flop.
draw.
Check.
You seen it, huh? You seen it?
And I don't think anybody has a jack here or an 8.
And
So
he
Martin's
it
hand is
gets
still the best.
Checked around. Well, now he's picked up top pair in the nut flush draw.
How do you check that?
I assume that.
Come on, Martin.
Did Martin not bet again? Are you kidding me? Oh, there we go. He bets, looks like 300 here. A little over the size of the pot.
There's another guy. If Martin shows any strength
Oh,
at all, you know
goodness.
he's got the goods.
Game is on the
Well, he hasn't raised pre-flop one time. We haven't seen him with a pair above 10s yet. But you got to think, like, cutoff -1, Ace 10 of hearts.
On the iPad, all right.
Give me the iPod.
I mean, look at Jeff. He raised in the cutoff with King 10.
Well, the whole point of raising with that in that late position is to buy yourself the button. Get the cutoff seat and the button to
Right.
fold. That way you have position throughout the hand.
And actually, Bicycles Biatch was actually stated on that hand with Joe win with the Ace 9 against seat number 4. That maybe if he had bottom set there, Dave, but still, I think you would have heard from him on the turn. Just too coordinated.
Yeah. Now this is an interesting here. Jeff has Ace Jack of clubs, and he tosses in a raise, and it's $100 raise. And it gets called in a bunch of spots, but he's got the best hand.
Well, Kevin has the same hand. Track is in there with Queen 10. And there's the Jack, and wow, Queen 10 Jack. So Track's got top and bottom. He checks it.
Now, well, if you're Track here and it's a raised pot, you got to be scared. Somebody could definitely have Ace King here.
Well, Jeff bets 200.
I mean, I don't know if Track is slow playing this because he thinks his hand is a monster. You got to be aware of the fact that somebody easily could have Ace King here.
Well, how does Kevin make a call here with Ace Jack?
That's a sexual.
Where my book lays? Where my book lays?
Still trying to figure out the identity, I guess, of Bicycles Biatch. We think we know who it is, but she has denied it. On 2+2. And he makes that smooth call.
Wow.
And now what does Track do?
I mean, I got to tell you, a lot of people are going, well, he's got 2 pair. It's a monster. That's not, that's a scary board.
The pot is...
In a raised pot?
Well, Dave, the pot is $600 now, 200 to go. He only has a little bit left, and he's going to make a check raise.
Raise 800 more.
He makes it 800 more. Now, the problem is that he's committed himself. If he does run in against Ace King, he has to call here with the Queen 10.
Yeah,
if he
and
comes back over the top.
You got to figure he's got 4 outs then.
Right.
To a full house.
It's 800 more.
To me, this is pretty much a no-brainer for Jeff to throw it away. I'm not sure what Jeff's thinking about
Even with
especially
Kev-
with Kevin calling behind him. There's no clubs on the board. There's 2 spades on the board. What are you drawing to?
He's got to be careful with those chips again. Oh, my! He makes the call!
Wow. And I got to tell you, I'm no longer on his bandwagon.
No.
I'm off the bandwagon.
And you know that Track is probably going to bring
I know.
it in here. And look at Kevin. He's still thinking as well. Dave, the pot's $2,300 now, $800 to call. You know all that money probably from Track is going to go in here on the turn, right? Kevin gets away from it. Does Track have a $1,000 chip there underneath those ones? I think he does.
So it's got about 1,500 left.
Yep.
And if you're Track, you got to be
It's a
scared now.
spade. The turn's a 7 of spades, and he moves all in
16.
for 1,600.
Track's not going to let himself get bluffed out.
Pot is now about $4,000. 1,600 to call.
Man.
And Jeff folds, and yeah, I just don't understand the call on the flop,
No,
especially with the guy behind him. I mean, was he intending to call if a spade didn't come out?
And the river's a 9 of hearts.
Yeah.
A scary card, but wouldn't have changed anything. Yeah, I don't understand the play. I mean, if you put Track on a bluff, you know, what are you putting Kevin on nothing too?
Yeah.
I don't. Confusing play there.
I think I got one space. I think you got the ace king.
Man. And I got to say, I mean, I was really a big fan of Jeff Gruber's play until that. I thought that was a really weak play.
There's a straight, but I will come on first. So what can I do?
I know, that's why that's why I gotta make my decision.
That's why I call loose. No, why maybe you have to problem with that. They might have a bit.
That's still done.
So we're going to have a setup here. One of my pet peeves, as Shirley says, her pet peeve is when somebody says, okay, I'll put you all in. I don't know why she has a big trouble with that. But one of my pet peeves is setups.
I know. I can tell, of course you got to.
One of my pet peeves is setups.
Otherwise you don't put all in already.
Because, I mean, it doesn't really change anything to do with the cards. You know what I mean?
Setups? Yeah.
Really?
And it's just a waste of time.
have space. I have a space.
That's why everybody gets me.
You didn't form, man.
Can you burn it? Can you burn it? No.
Button now moves over to seat 5. Tony is actually away from the table right now. Of course, if you want to email us, you can get to us by going to live@thebike.com. Email us at live@thebike.com. Dave, if you're thinking about a great Christmas gift
I
for
was
your
thinking,
loved
actually.
one,
You know what? I went to the mall the other day, and there's nothing there. I have to go to. I mean, the parking sucks. Traffic in LA, it's terrible. I was thinking, what am I going to get my loved one?
well, that's the beauty of signing up for the archives. You can do it right from your home. Get this and all of the saved action. Thousands of hours of cash games with commentary.
So I can order from the convenience of my home?
That's right. Wow. We got a hand brewing here because we've got ace-jack and ace-king and ace-5 with the 5 of spades.
Wow.
The pot was limped around.
Now, Ace King's got the king of spades, so he's not going anywhere.
Yep. We got a bet here. Martin is finally bet. He's bet with top 2. And Huang's got ace king with the nut spade draw. And he just calls. No pre-flop raising. Pot's about $400. The turn's a deuce.
Well, that doesn't change anything.
No.
Except the fact that they all have 2 pair. Martin's got 3 pair now.
Martin's going to bet again.
Obviously, only your best 2 pair play, though.
He bets $300 into a $400 pot.
And Huang's going to need a king or a spade. Or an ace to chop it up. No, an ace should not chop it up, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry. Actually, there's no more aces left.
And he makes the call. And the river's a 6. And how passively has he played ace-king here? It is a 3 flush on board. And Martin's got a value bet here again, right?
Has to. Have to bet this.
I don't want to get trapped here.
Oh, he's going to check it down. Boy, he could have made at least another $600 or $700 there on the river.
Yeah, you got to bet that. You know what?
Do you think the guy just has a low flush and he's checked it to you each time?
That's
Yeah,
your
I
iPad?
Tough to put him on that.
Yeah.
Last one, he was an iPad, all in. It's iPad.
Oh, okay. That should be an iPad.
He had an iPad.
I mean, you might have even gotten paid off. I mean, Huang's a pretty tight player, but with 2 deuces and a jack out there, you might have even gotten paid off by ace-10 or ace-9 or ace-8.
$500 on the pot, and then $500 on the iPad.
That's a value bet lost.
I'm going to buy you an iPod. I'm going to buy... Where's that iPod?
Please.
And they are referencing the iPod, which is the Bluff Night Award for tonight. And we've seen a couple of bluffs, mostly by Joe Wynn in seat 9, and we're waiting for your votes. Please help us award this nano iPod.
give me a pot 3,000, I can buy you.
Well, I think that Track Win is probably winning right now, Dave.
You think so?
Well, excuse me, Joe Win. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So many wins, so little time.
Oh, that's right.
Bot is limped around here again. King 9-3.
Another 99 cents.
Now Joe's got Queen 9, that hand that he lost a lot of money with earlier in the show. He's got second pair. He's checked it this time. And everyone has checked here? Let's see.
Yeah. Wow, Kevin checks his pair of threes.
Turns a 5. Now Joe's going to bet.
Yeah, Joe still has the best hand here.
Diablo's picked up a pair of 5s now. And it looks like he's going to let it go. And Joe's going to take it down. Is that Joe back there with the Miller Lite? I don't think I've ever seen Joe drink. Maybe he needs to, like, you know, kind of cool his, calm down a little bit there, Dave. You know? I mean, he's taken some pretty big beats tonight. Button is in seat 8. Big blind is Martin, seat 1.
100.
Raise 100.
We get a raise here by seat 3. Ace 10 of spades.
Loose call.
Call.
I don't like this.
What do you think?
And we got a raise and a call here.
this hand
That's what I call
and
greedy.
win the hand, I definitely get the item.
Track has got 9-10 of diamonds in seat 5.
Set.
I want to buy
So here we go, heads up.
How much would it be, guys?
Flop comes Queen, 10-4, Queen 9-4, and Diablo's going to make a bet here. But Track has outflopped him. And you're going to see a raise there by Track.
Let's go, you know that.
This is the loose race. He gave you a real loose race.
You want the item?
And look at this, Diablo's going to let it go.
Show him nothing. You got the iPod.
Yeah, show me nothing.
And Track did not really bluff. He had the best hand there with a pair of 9s.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's only 2 players in the pot. You have second pair. Why not?
I don't play. I can't afford to play.
You just want an iPad, that's all.
Button moves over to seat 9.
Big blind.
I mean, so far the biggest bluff to me is actually Joe's bluff when he had Jack 10 open-ended against Huang, and Huang had Ace Queen.
Right.
And he used the king on the turn to represent a bigger hand.
That's too late. I go home already.
Button is actually Joe Win there, seat 9. Small blind is $10. That's Martin. Seat 2 is the big blind, and that is Jeff Gruber.
And a bet. A little limp in there by seat 5. 8-6 offsuit.
$60 pot to the flop.
I check.
And Martin checks blind.
Jack 5 deuce here on the flop.
Check.
Check. Oh, I should have checked. Check. I check.
That's a loose check.
Turn is a king.
One more deuce in there.
And it's a diamond, and the river is a 4. Jeff against Track.
Diamond, I can remember.
And nobody bet here. And seat 1 is also in the hand, but we can't see what he has.
That's Martin, and he's going to show.
Oh, I said, give me a diamond.
And it looks like Queen High is good here.
I'm sorry.
Queen High is good.
Yeah, he showed a couple of diamonds, actually.
Yeah.
I want a diamond.
I want a diamond. I was give me a diamond. You want diamond, you got diamond.
That was an iPad hand.
And the button now moves over to seat 1.
Man, I tell you, I'm looking at this 2+2 thread, and you're getting, like, I mean, people that have 1 and 2 posts are ragging on your patsies.
No, I think they're defending him. I don't know about Pat Suck always have. How is that possible? 3 Super Bowl wins? Are you kidding me? limp in here. Limp in the buttons.
3 players. We got a $60 pot.
Yeah. And here we go to the flop. Jack 3-9.
It's missed everybody. I want to say Huang has a gut shot here.
40.
And Jeff is going to bet here with nothing. He bets 40.
Well, he's got a pair of threes, actually.
Oh, excuse me. He's got bottom pair. You're right.
And actually, his queen high is the best hand.
Wow, 7-10 calls with the gut shot, dude.
65.
Let's see if it gets checked to Huang if he can actually bet here. Turns an ace.
Well, this is one of those times he can actually use the ace as a scare
That's
card.
what I mean.
See if he does it.
And he does.
220.
He's going to bet 220. And looks like Jeff is done with it.
Nice bluff by Huang there. And good players don't bluff that often, but they use the tool every once in a while.
Word is, I believe that we're going to have Alan coming into the game. Taking over for seat 7. Taking over for Tony. Button is over there in seat 2. Limp by Tommy Huffnagel, Dave. And we got a raise there by Joe, and he's got ace queen in seat 9. It looks like Joe is going to take it down.
Take it down, Joe.
And the butt moves over to seat 3. And the game is kind of slowed down here a little bit, Dave.
Yeah, a little bit here. A couple
we've
people
got
are up
several
here.
people away from the
Tony's up
table.
from the game. We're trying to get somebody in the game.
Yeah.
That happens. I mean, once again, this is not a tournament. This is live cash game. It's the first and only live webcast of a cash game. And cash games go through this, you know?
Right.
The ups and downs through the night. People can come and go when they want to, play as long as they want to, or as short as they want to.
Yeah.
And the money they play with is theirs.
And you can always rebuy in a cash game.
Yeah.
Which usually means that, it looks like Tony's going to put a box over his chips and Alan's going to play over him in seat 7. Jack 10-4 here. It was limped around, a couple diamonds. Joe's got King Jack, and he's going to bet.
200.
He bets 200. Martin's got a set of 4s. Let's see how he plays it.
Now let's see if Joe's been paying attention.
And he's going to raise.
I mean,
So Martin has never shown any strength. He didn't bet the river with the ace jack at the end. This King Jack,
That's 5 more.
and look at that. And Joe, 500 more. It's a 500 more. Joe bet 200. He really needs to get away from this hand quickly.
well, if you're paying attention to the player, this is screams strength. And the reason he's playing it strong is you go, well, why would he play a set of 4 so strong? Well, that's a scary board. Jack 10, 2 diamonds, a lot of straight draws out there, a lot of flush, one flush draw, obviously.
A lot of people in the hand, and it was limped around.
Yeah.
And an unraised
Well,
pot.
I mean, it's hard to get a non-scary card out there.
Right. Again, not necessarily that that it might beat you, but it might kill all of the action as well. And Joe gets away from it wisely.
Well, any card higher than a 7 could be a straight card.
Yeah. We got an email here from Terry Wooten from Naples, Florida. He says, "Hey guys, just wanted to let you know that I'm very impressed with your site, and it's nice to know that now every night I can watch poker. See you soon at the bike with my buy-in." So maybe Terry's planning to come in. Thanks a lot for that email, Terry. You can, of course, email us at live@thebike.
You think that's the missing Terry Crow?
Well, when I first looked at it, I said Terry. I was like, uh-oh. Boy, if Terry listens to the show now, he said it.
I have nothing wrong with Terry. Terry's a nice guy.
But Yana, I said it.
Terry, remember that heads-up match Terry was against Shirley?
Yeah,
He was just getting schooled by Shirley.
We never actually showed that. We got to pull that one out and show it.
Yeah, we've got a lot of
Entertainment
stuff on
value.
tape that we've never shown.
We had a. This spot is limped around. We'll tell you a little bit after the hand. 3-way action here. Queen 7-3.
Oh, okay.
100.
Martin
100.
has King 8.
I don't know
Diablo's
my
going to
bookmaker
bet
to
here with a
see.
pair of threes. He has the best hand. Queen 3-7 on the board.
And this is Diablo using his position. He's last act. Everybody checks to him. He's going to bet. And he takes it down.
Dave, we have a, and as I say this, I know my producer is listening as well. We have an old tape of Terry playing a heads-up match against Shirley that we never aired. That I think would be, well, it was never finished, but I think it would actually be great to maybe if we can get that up, just for the mocking factor. Of
Yeah,
Terry.
one bet without a doubt.
Because
Why
Shirley
not?
really schooled him.
She did. I mean, he won a couple of big putts,
Yeah.
but he was kind of like,
Yeah.
he played so passively,
So
and Shirley
passively.
was
Oh.
so aggressive.
Yeah.
Then I'll never
I mean, he was
And,
laying down aces like heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that would have a lot of entertainment value, I'm sure.
Well, you got some other great videos. How about the video of my poker night at my house? Where
Yeah.
Isaac schooled all of us.
Isaac won. Button is over here in seat 8.
That's
Raise 100.
my favorite.
We have a raise here.
Uh-oh, we got a raise from...
All right.
We get
Diablo.
300.
And seat 8's got pocket kings. He's going to make it 300. Diablo's got a little suited connector, 5-4 of clubs. Let's see if Diablo can get away from this, because you don't want to really take it heads up, 4-5 of clubs against one of the tightest players at the table that's re-raised.
Well, he's
you
pretty
three
solid. Yeah, he's a pretty
Yeah.
solid player. Wong is... He hasn't gotten out of line yet.
Now, Martin's got 8-9 suited, and he mugs.
I'll show you. There's no way you
Now, I think that Diablo really should get away from this out of position, and he does. I love it, Dave. I
There you
love
go.
it. Yeah.
Took a shot at it, didn't work. Okay. Found out where he was at, and he threw it away.
And there's Allen coming into seat
You know,
7.
It's interesting here. I mean, there are only a few players that... I mean, like Terry, we love to mock his play.
Right.
And it was interesting. We actually watched an interesting game, I want to say 3 weeks ago,
Right.
where Patrick was in the game. And one of the worst players I've ever seen, Scott Groves.
Right, right.
I mean, that was just awful play. He actually called Patrick's all-in with Jack high
Right.
and said, hey, I'm putting you on an ace. And there was an
Right.
ace in the flop.
right.
I mean, that was just pathetic. I don't know what Scott was thinking.
And Scott Groves also, he was one of the commentators here. They called him part of the B team.
Yeah.
That was just about when everyone was going to
That's
hop.
being generous. He's like the C team.
When everyone was going to hop ship
Yeah.
on Live at the Bike, because the commentating, I guess,
I was getting
lacking.
phone calls daily from
Yeah.
Evelyn and Isaac begging me to come back from the World Series.
Right, right.
Please, get rid of Scott. No more, Scott.
he had like 3
Christ almighty.
Seat 3 has raised it up to 100 here with Ace King. And Allen's going to call King 10 of diamonds. And Diablo has the goods this time. He's got him dominated. And here we go. Heads up.
I'm learning.
Queen 9-3.
I'm learning.
I was always
200,
very
Alan.
suspect of Scott Groves' play. Allen bets. Excuse me, Diablo
The
bets
iPad.
and Allen
That's
folds.
not an iPad I hand. That's right.
He just did some weird things when he was playing. And you think a guy that played that much would learn after a while.
Well, he's actually one of those dangerous guys because it's funny with him is he's one of those guys. There are a lot of players that play for fun, and
Right.
they know they're bad players, right?
Right.
But they're there to have a good time and they're there to gamble, and it's their chip, so who cares, right?
Right.
You know, there's a guy Tony or like Jesus. He's not here to make money. He's here to have a good time.
Right.
But Scott Groves, the funny thing about him is he actually thinks he's good,
Right.
which is great. I mean, he's just like I mean, you see him, you just run to his game.
Yeah,
Man.
that's true. Couldn't said it better.
Yeah, Button is in seat 2.
Your flush draw. Yeah, right.
And the big blind is in seat
Probably I
4.
misread my hand. I didn't draw. You wanna play? You're the boss. Okay. Okay. We split the iPad. Ooh.
I think his hand is better. Yeah, his hand nicer. I think it is.
50 cents.
50 cents? Oh, I lose that. I lose 50 cents. I get the best hand.
And the button moves over there to seat 3.
Thank you, sir.
Checked around there.
Yeah.
I lose $1. Thank you.
And again, we've got some people left the table right now. Hopefully they'll come back soon.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We stream live webcasts, cash games, every Monday through Friday, 6 to 9. Check us out. If you have any questions for us, please email us at liveatthebike.com. If you want to read my blog, you can actually go to liveatthebike.com and click on Under the Gun. And I have a little blog that I try to update weekly, Under the Gun with David Tuckman.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold it, Alex, you can read me.
Ace King here for,
Hey, how you doing?
Wow, and Jacks for Huang.
yeah.
Ace King for Allen and Jacks for Huang. This will be interesting.
And who raised here pre-flop? We can't. You would think that it would be Huang, but it might have been
Might have been
Allen.
Track.
Yeah, well,
Bet 200.
I think Allen raised and Huang called with smooth called the pocket jacks, and Allen hits the ace, and he's gonna bet. And Huang
Yeah,
just
Huang's,
folds.
he hasn't had much luck with those Jacks, huh?
No, but Huang's played it real passive also all night.
I don't mind that with Jacks, though. Sometimes,
Yeah.
because the problem with Jacks is, if you re-raise somebody and then they re-raise you, well, then what do you do with them?
Right.
You know, Jacks can be tricky to play. Some people say Jacks are the hardest hand to play in No Limit Hold'em.
That's an iPad in, Alan.
You know, 6s, 7s, and 8s, you know, a lot easier. You flop a set or you're out, you know. It's pretty straightforward.
I think that queens are actually one of the difficult. I mean, especially in a cash game, Dave, because sometimes in a tournament you're going to commit to queens all in.
Right.
But in a cash game, especially if you see the flop and they're all undercards, and you think a guy is real strong, yeah, I think it's very difficult to play sometimes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacks, I mean, like, those like high but not
Right.
super high pairs are tough.
I get 100.
¿Qué pasó, Brian?
Joe,
What's
happening, man?
We have a raise here by seat number 2. Jeff, he's got pocket 10.
I don't believe on see.
And Track calls him with ace 6 of diamonds. Looks like Martin's having an O'Doul's over there in seat 1.
Well, Track's flopped a flush draw here.
The
A
nut
nut
flush.
flush, yeah.
Not a bad flop for pocket 10s. Jack deuce 4. And Track's going to bet. I believe Jeff checked. Is he going to check raise here, Dave? Let's see. He is going to check raise, it looks like. Looks like he's going to make it, if he pushes that in, 400. And there you go.
Very neat about it. And I told you I was a big fan of Jeff's play early going, but
Well, what do you think that
Man.
Jeff has now? Could you push all in here, or would he instantly call with an overpair? Do you put him on an overpair right now?
well, if you put him on an overpair and it's not aces, well then you got to figure that you've gotten 12 outs, 3 aces, plus 9 diamonds. Now if you put him on a set of jacks, you're obviously not drawing his live.
Right.
First time in all night.
And Track makes the call. And the pot is now $1,000. Oh, there's the diamond on the turn. Jeff has the 10 of diamonds in his hand. Track has made the nut flush. And it goes check, and Track's going to bet.
Bet 1,000.
He bets 1,000. And look at this. I don't think Jeff buys it, Dave. He's drawing dead if
Oh.
he calls. He is drawing dead.
And this is the problem with a lot of no limit.
And there we
players.
go. There it is. And it's
Man.
over. Inconsequential river card. And Jeff goes broke.
Yeah, and you know what I don't understand? I mean, Jeff played great poker the first hour and a half of the night.
Yeah.
And then in the span of 2 hands, and this is what No Limit Hold'em is all about. In the span of 2 hands, he gives away all his money.
I think that he said he's getting up, Dave. So
Yeah.
probably get a new player in there. And Joe says he's going to move over
Man.
to seat 2. Joe Wynn is going to move over to seat 2.
And like I said, I mean, it's just amazing. Well, No Limit Hold'em is a game of mistakes, and the one thing about No Limit Hold'em is you can play perfect the entire night, and if you play one hand badly,
You
can be in a lot of trouble. we saw him overplay his ace jack
gotta
earlier,
give it
and
anyway.
then obviously overplayed a pair of tens.
But he made the best.
Big one, Alan.
No, I haven't bluffed at all.
He called bluffing.
Man,
Hello, Alan.
I mean, he couldn't even beat a jack,
That was a call bluff.
right? Talk about overplaying a hand. Maybe you think Jeff was just thinking that Track was trying to get that iPod, huh? Once again, it is bluff night, and we need your help. So, if you see a bluff, let us know who you think is bluffing the best.
Option.
What?
Okay.
Now,
6 players.
Button has limped in here. We can't see his hand. Seat 5, track win.
I don't want Joe over here.
No problem. Gotta put your cards on the window, sir.
Oh.
He limped in with ace 4 of hearts, and look at that. He flops top and bottom on the
Come on,
button.
I'm going over there.
Now, no one else appears to have an ace here.
No, a couple of there's a jack out there. That's it.
120.
120.
And Diablo is going to bet here with nothing.
He's got a backdoor flush draw. That's it.
500.
And Track's going to raise.
Track's pretty straightforward, you know. He bets his strong hands and his bluffs the same way, doesn't he?
And he's going to take it down.
100 total?
Yes.
There you go.
I'll call, sir.
And that last hand, I just don't understand. I mean, it comes out Jack 4 deuce with 2 diamonds.
Right there. That's a block.
The guy bets, you check raise him, he calls you, and then the turn comes out another diamond and you bet. What can your 10s beat?
Right.
Man.
Button moves over here to seat 6.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And again, we're playing kind of short here. I'd love to get those players back to the
Where are you going
table.
now, Joe? 100.
100.
And Diablo's going to raise. He's got ace 4 of clubs.
We got some great hands here tonight.
Yeah. Everyone folds.
Obviously, we are live here.
Joe's
And-
not getting up and leaving, is he?
He looks like he might be. Either that or he's just rearranging his chips.
Then I'll cover one seat over there.
Joe, would you like the big one?
No, he's not going anywhere. He's
He's
just
not going
rearranging his
anywhere.
chips.
Yeah.
And he's right next to Diablo. The two of them together have over $20,000.
No, I'm going on 9.
Diablo's going to move over to seat
No,
9.
the right part can still be engraved on my name. It's all right. They can still engrave it.
100.
Pocket aces here for Track.
They can still engrave it.
And it looks like he's going to take it down here. Pocket aces there for Track in seat 5.
I know that one, Bucha.
A block with pocket aces?
Okay, you got some credit.
Let me look at you. I'm down to
We'll get the big one now, okay?
Ryan, the dealer there in the box.
You want to buy the button right now? You want to buy the button? You want to buy the
And
button?
Diablo's going to move over to seat 9.
It's better.
And I believe he's going to buy the
Yes.
Let me
button.
look at you. $1 for $5. $80.
Just so funny to listen to Joe Wynn talk in the background. He's like a... I don't know, he's just got a strange, he's got that Vietnamese accent. Weird voice. But he's a very funny guy,
Oh, Joe, look at you.
if you can understand what he's saying.
That's his
And he's moved over here to seat
He bought the button.
3, it looks like.
Oh, my money, yeah, that's my money.
That's your money.
Diablo bought the button.
He bought the button. Now it's 2 players.
Now, the button has ace 8 of diamonds. And he's going to raise. Finally, a pre-flop raise there by Huang.
What is it?
Diablo's got 4-5 offsuit.
Why, man? You make money.
He's gonna call.
What are you talking about? Why?
$55 raise, so about $110 pot. Heads up. Diablo against Huang.
No, I don't.
Outflops him. He's got a pair. Check.
I don't play. I mean, I just
Huang checks right behind him, takes a card. And now an 8 comes off on the turn, and he's made the best hand. And Diablo's going to bet.
only once in a while, you know.
140.
He bets 140. So 140, a little over the size of the pot. And a call by Huang. So the pot now is about $400, and the river is a jack, brings a straight, 1 card straight to the board. And Diablo bets again. And look at that. Good aggressive play is going to take it down. He bets 200. There's a bluff.
Yes, sir. I will.
I don't know if that's going to constitute the best bluff. I think Joe Wynn is in the lead for that. But he takes it down with 4-5.
Okay. Yeah.
button here is in seat number 9. Ace king here for Allen in seat 7. It looked like he just limped in late position.
6 players.
In 6-way action in an unraised pot. Queen, ace 3. A couple people have aces, but Allen's got the ace king. See if Track gets
100.
involved here. He's going to bet 100. And let's see what Allen does. He's going to
300.
raise it up to 300. Track only has a 6 kicker here. $500 pot, 200 to call for Track. Again, it was limped around, so anyone could pretty much have anything here. Track is not going to get involved, and Allen takes it down. Well, let me ask everyone out there, what could be better for your poker-playing friends than to bring your home game to the Bicycle Casino where you get treated like a pro? Tired of dealing to yourselves and having to make your own appetizers? Hop on the bike and we'll do the work for you. It's a great way to impress your buddies. Write to us at live@thebike.com with your name and your phone number, and we'll do the rest. That's right, Scott Groves. You can have that home game right here at the bike. Button has moved over to seat 3. Diablo's got a suited ace 9. And he's going to raise. He's going to make it 120 to go. Joe Wynn's got pocket 7s on the button. Let's see if he just smooth calls here. We've seen him re-raise before in that spot, but he's just going to make the call with 7s. Track's got queen deuce off suit. I mean, there's playing a lot of hands and there's playing a lot of hands. I don't know what kind of value queen deuce off suit has here in early position. I don't know if he's thinking about making a play here or what. Queen deuce offsuit. This is what the delay
So
is.
do you know it's 100 to call to you?
I don't. Maybe he doesn't know if it's his turn. Again, and he's asking for time. He's really milking queen deuce offsuit. I think he's thinking about making a play. No, he's going to fold. And Hong calls with
3
king
players.
queen. So here we go. Diablo with the betting lead. 3-way action. Queen 4 deuce. Seat 8's picked up top pair. Not a bad flop for pocket 7s. And Diablo's going to bet, and I wouldn't be surprised if Joe raised here. And what's going to happen when it comes back to king queen in seat 8? Let's see what Joe does.
400.
He is going to raise. And he might protect himself here, because seat 8, he's played it tight all night. But he doesn't look like he has that much. He's only got about 500, and he's going to make the call all in. Well, it looks like it is a
All in,
re-raise.
660.
And how much is it here? 660?
That's it, Joe. Well, what is that?
So again, I can't. Let's see how much it is there. Looks like maybe 260 more.
260 more to call.
And he showed a card, and Joe said, "Show one, show all."
I'm not on the hand, Joe. Easy.
So it's 260 more. The pot's about $1,000 now. 260 more for Joe to call. Well, it's not really a pot odds question. If the guy has a queen, you know, Joe's going to muck, and he does muck. Yeah. And that guy's played it tight pretty much all night.
Now, I got some interesting news here. Jesus is actually, we're having a Halloween party here tonight, and Jesus is dressed like a Corona bottle.
Really?
Yeah. He's playing Mexican no-limit poker, and he's dressed like a Corona bottle. I tried to get him over here, but he's got some chicky on his left arm, another one on his right arm. He's dancing away tonight, so we'll see what happens. I told him we're saving a seat for him, though.
You got Queen do. Oh my goodness. Then you got it.
Offsuit. Yeah, you are the best handler. Okay, do it again.
It's not gonna work.
Okay, 4 players.
Four-way action here.
Thank you.
Button is in seat 4. $80 pot, huh?
Deuce 3 queen here. Looks like seat 4 there on the button has the best hand with 3-4.
Now, if it gets checked to him, let's see if he takes advantage of his position and bets.
Diablo bets with ace deuce here. He bets 100. Kevin makes the call.
Wow.
2 players.
Isn't a whole lot that 3-4 could beat there.
Ace deuce.
There you go. Turns an 8. Diablo.
He's going to continue to fire. Trying to make a late push for that iPod, huh?
That's 200. And look at that. He's going to take it down.
Diablo, you get that number?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
He's ready for you. Actually, we just got the
Omega Plumbing. You gotta admire plumbers, Dave. I mean, sometimes, you ever seen that show on Discovery, like the America's Dirtiest Jobs or World's Worst Jobs? I think it's called. something
Dirtiest
like that.
jobs, yeah, I've seen that.
Oh man, I mean, some of the stuff that plumbers have to do, like unclog a septic tank.
Yeah, all I know is I just
I
paid
mean-
$700 to some plumber to fix a pump sump or something. I don't know.
Some pump.
Some pump sump, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
So,
Drove me nuts, though. Button is in seat 5.
Alan's got ace king suited in the small blind,
And the call.
It's to me?
Yes, sir.
and he's gonna raise. He's dressed nice tonight, huh?
Yeah, he looks
60 more.
he's always, dressed pretty nicely.
Makes it 60 more. I mean, he's the classic 70s cop right out of the Beastie Boys Sabotage music video. Seat 8 and 9 both call.
And he's not wearing costume. That's just Alan.
Yeah. And everybody calls.
5 players.
$300 pot, 5 ways.
No respect for you, Alan, man. These guys are-
I know. These guys are.
Well, he's got the top pair, King Jack 8,
And Kevin's got the open-ended straight draw here.
and he's going to bet 300, Dave, about the size of the pot.
That's a good bet by Alan.
Seat 8 has bottom pair. Can't imagine he's going to stay here. Diablo's out of there. And now it's over to Kevin with the straight draw. And of course, Alan usually buys in for the minimum, so he's already committed about 40% of his stack here.
Yeah.
And Kevin calls.
Yeah, you got to think of implied odds here.
Yeah.
Is it worth to go for?
Getting word that Ed is here.
Looking good, eh?
Waiting for you, Alan. Ed, I mean,
Ed is Ed is here and he's dressed well.
Chips, please.
you
Seat 2.
take that.
Ed is he's a super nice guy, Ed.
And C4 makes the call here. Pot is now $900.
To the turn.
Turns a jack. And let's see if Alan moves all in here.
Now that's a scary card. Let's see what Alan does.
I think he checked. And Kevin's going to bet.
100.
And that's pretty much going to put Alan all in. Well, he bets 500. Looks like Alan might have 700 in front of him. Pot is now $1,400.
That's an interesting play there. Now he's representing a jack. Okay. And I like it. The problem with this, you can play it both ways. You can take the free card also.
But you pretty much give it up if you miss.
Right.
Now the pot is now $1,400. It's $500 for Alan.
I mean, I can't fault somebody for taking a free card there if the guy's going to check in front of me.
Well, with the $1,400 pot, and I have 700 left, and I know Kevin, I think I make this call.
But does he know Kevin?
Right.
He's only been in the game for 15 minutes.
Look at Diablo. No glasses, no.
Guys on the bottom, guys on the top.
Again, he's got
you guys are-
700 left, 500 to call, 1,400 in
But
the
the
pot.
problem is Alan has induced this bluff. He checked.
Right.
Alan can read me.
You're basically forcing Kevin to bet. I mean, if Kevin had Queen 10, he's going to bet it. If he had 9-10, he's going to bet it. I mean, let's be honest. Even if Kevin had Queen King, he'd now bet.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because you've checked to him.
King 10.
I mean, it's like
King
the jack paired, and for some reason Alan
Right.
just immediately said, "Oh, he must have had a jack." I'm not. I mean, when the jack pairs, it's a nice scare card to use if you're Kevin, but you can't immediately assume that your opponent has made trips.
I mean, in essence, Alan would pretty much put in 700 to win 1,400 here, even though it's only a $500
Right.
bet.
And if you think of all the hands this guy might have, King Queen, King 10, 9-10, Queen 10,
Right.
and then a possible jack, I mean, it's a no-brainer to call.
I think it's an easy call here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're privy to the information.
Yeah, but especially because he's checked.
Yeah, he's checked. I mean,
If he-
Alan, you can't just check fold here. Oh, no.
Yeah.
A la Scott Groves.
Well, I just don't understand. I mean, you think about it. Okay, you bet the flop. He raises out of position, and he has ace king. He bets the flop, and he gets called in one spot. Why would you immediately assume this guy has a jack?
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's just tight passive there.
I just don't understand why.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you were really deep and you bet again on the turn. Now he raised you a lot. You checked.
Right.
You
Now-
checked the turn.
Right. If Alan's got $10,000 and he bets 1,000 on the turn,
Right,
and this
right.
guy comes over the top 4,000,
Right.
okay. Now the guy's representing a jack, throw it away.
Right.
Fine. But what I don't understand is when I'm thinking of all the possibilities, the flop comes out king, jack, 8, right? And I bet the flop. And the guy calls me. I'm starting to think in my head, what might my opponent have?
Alan, the action's on you. Sorry.
Man. Come on, Alan. Step it up.
Raise it 100.
Got a raise here by Diablo. 6-9 of diamonds, and it looked like seat 2. It's Ed Shanazarian. He's going to pull the limp re-raise, Dave. I think he was in the posting position. So we got a action player, and he's going to pull the. I believe he checked his post, Dave, in early position, and he's posting in early position when the blind's only one spot away from him too, and he's raised. And Joe calls with a suited ace. He raises from the post with ace queen. Joe called with ace 5. And Diablo, who I think was just trying to make a stab at the limpers and the dead money, is probably going to be done with the hand with 6-9 of diamonds.
But that's where Diablo's development is really. That's where Diablo's development is really taking off. He'll take a stab at it, and if he misses, he throws it away.
Right?
No problem.
So we're heads up here, and look at that. 3 of the aces are done. Ed's got the best hand.
Yes, sir.
Wow, 3, 4, 6. Joe's got an open-ended straight draw. Pot's about $1,000.
Yeah, this is one of those times where Ed's missed, and Joe really hasn't missed that.
And it went check, check. And now Ed's picked up the nut flush draw. Joe did not bet.
Wow.
Check, check again. And the river's a 4, and this one's going to get chopped up.
Yeah, Joe got lucky.
Wow. Wow. Joe never put any money in there.
Surprising Ed never put money in there. I mean, Ed bets with ace queen and just checks it down.
Yep.
Joe, you have straight draw. Open-ended.
How can I bet? I'm nothing. Can I bet I got something, right?
It's funny, I was talking about Scott Groves, and this guy Bicycles Biatch has really come to his defense.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's really strange. You'd almost think they know each other.
Maybe.
Maybe Bicycles Biatch is Jennifer Bankston.
Maybe.
Wow.
The button is in seat 8. And seat 5 raises here.
120.
He's got 5-7 of clubs. Makes it 120 to go. And Kevin, I think, just pulled the limp here with pocket 10s. Is he going to limp re-raise here? Well, Ed calls, Joe calls. Well, he's just going to play it slow, a little slow there. He's just got pocket 10s.
4 players.
And we've got a $480 pot going 4 ways. Oh, a set, ace, 10, 9, a couple of clubs. Now, no one has an ace, but Track has the club draw. And Ed bets right in with bottom pair. Kevin's got a set, no strength pre-flop, limp call. And let's see if he raises here, Dave.
I think he has to bet. I mean, 9, 10, straight draws out there, 2 clubs out there.
Think he has to raise here?
I think he has to.
Well, let's see here.
I mean, at least a minimum raise. Make it 600 to go. You don't got to make it 1,000.
I think that's what's going to happen
Raise
here.
it. 800.
He makes it 800, and Track's got the flush draw.
Yeah, for some people think minimum raises aren't good. When somebody bets 300, a minimum raise isn't that bad a deal.
What is Track going to do here? He does not have an ace. Unlucky for Kevin he doesn't have an ace, because I think Track's money would go pretty much in with the big kicker. $300 bet, $800 raise.
Now, Ed's played it aggressive with bottom pair. And that's okay as long as I can get away from it now.
Pot is $1,500, $800 for Track to call. He's the pre-flop raiser.
He's getting a little bit less than 2 to 1 on his money. The problem is that's only to see one card.
Right. And he calls.
Wow.
Now Ed really needs to get out of the hand, Dave.
Yeah, this is screaming. I have king 9 with no club in my hand. Probably not good.
No, Ed really needs to get out of the hand.
I mean, at this point, you almost have to put track on. You put track on like maybe ace something or clubs. I mean,
Yeah. And
you might even have ace with a club. Who knows?
And Ed gets out of there. We got a $2,300 pot that turns a king.
Well, that
Let's see
would've-
if Kevin moves all in
Man,
now.
that would have killed Ed.
Yeah.
All in.
That
And
would've
he's
been-
going to move all in. So he moves all in. How much does Track have in front of him? Because that's the issue.
Gotta move in some of your stacks.
Look at Brian just.
Let's see how much
Juck
Track
his
has in
head
front of
there.
him.
Put your chips in. You gotta have
It was 2,300 before this street.
Wow.
Looks like Track has at least 3,000 in front of him, if I'm right.
Yeah. Oh
He's
yeah,
got
he does.
3,000. And Kevin probably he might have about 3,000 too. So we're talking about a $5,000 pot and 3,000 a call. He's really not getting anywhere near the odds he needs
And
just for one card.
That's
to
the
a
problem
flush.
with chasing a no limit hold'em. Because you pay $800. Basically you paid $800 to that king of diamonds.
Yeah. This
You
is
know.
this is a no-brainer fold.
Talk
here.
about buying a vowel. You know. I mean that's just.
Dave, all the play has been taken out by the all-in move. I mean, so actually, there's an article about this in Card Player today. This issue, all the play is taken out. It's a math problem now. The pot is exactly, I did it out here, 5,300, and it's about 3,000 to call. There's no way you can make this call with just a flush draw. Because
No.
if you miss, you're no good. You have 7 high.
You have to assume, obviously a pair of 7s and a pair of 5s is no good.
Yeah.
And
And
obviously
obviously,
you've got 9 outs and 9 outs only.
and he's only drawing to 7 outs, and he folds.
Throws it away.
Track's got a set,
I can beat you.
and
But
he
obviously-
actually shows the
Yeah,
set.
the ace of clubs and the king of clubs is no good. And wow, that would have been
Yeah,
funny.
what
The
a
king
river.
Of clubs
King
would
of
have
clubs
come
on the river. Yep.
And if he slow plays just a little bit and the king of clubs on the river, then what happens?
And you're right. If Ed was in there, oh man,
Oh,
that's
too
the
bad.
differences between like Ed and Jesus and Diablo, like you said. Ed, he'd stick all his money in there with King 9. There's no
With 2 pair?
Yeah. Well, and he's short too. He doesn't have that much. in suit two.
How do you call $800 with just a flush draw?
Yeah.
I mean, I know the pot is $1,500, but you're getting less than 2 to 1 on only one card there. And you have to know the guy's going to continue betting.
That's a bad boy, Ed. Where's the medal? Where's the medal?
Well, and Kevin's stack has gone up and down all night, and now it's back up over 4,000.
Poker blue, poker or whatever, blue girl.
Right, I'm getting word that it's actually almost 6,000 now.
Which one?
I see you. Nobody tells me.
I tell you, we got a lot of money on this table.
Raise it. Make it 100.
And Diablo's going to raise here. He's going to raise it up to 100 on the button. He's got pocket 5s.
100 more to call.
100 straight or more?
120 and it's 100 more.
So he makes it 120 to go. And Dave, look at the nature of this table, how it's changed. Really, really loose now.
Well, you put Alan in there, who likes to call with any 2 cards pretty much.
And look at
he's-
his actions on Tommy, and I think he's considered. No, he's not. Okay, I was like, wow, is he going to call with Ace 3?
What do you want us to
And
do?
you see Alan
you
there.
wanna
He
ask
just,
me?
I mean, look at, what does Alan have here?
King 10 of clubs.
I mean, King 10 of clubs. And he's like, oh, raise? No problem.
6 players.
Except the ugly
6-way action.
And Alan only has like $700.
$600 pot. Track's in there with Jack 6 offsuit. 10-10 deuce. And Kevin's got the best hand in seat 4. Excuse me,
Actually-
Alan's flop trip 10.
Yeah.
And he checked it, I believe. Well, let's see. Yep, he checked it, Dave. Couple spades out there. And Diablo's going to bet with pocket 5s on the button.
Well, I like the bet by Diablo, I got to tell you.
He bets 200 into a $600 pot. Now, is this going to get Kevin involved now in seat 4? No.
Well, he's getting all the information he wants to get, and he's going to get it right here.
So far.
And I can kind of predict how this is going to go. Alan's going to smooth call, and he's going to check the turn.
Really?
Diablo's going to call. He's going to check also.
Yeah.
Then Alan's going to bet the river.
Yeah, he just calls.
Watch.
Just calls.
Now it's going to go check, and let's see what Diablo does also.
You don't think that Alan would ever bet here or try to check
Maybe he
raise?
will, but I'm just predicting. Alan's going to go check, and Diablo's going to check behind
Oh,
him.
the turn's a deuce. And now Diablo's drawing dead, right? And he bets. He bets 200.
Wow, see, that surprises me.
Yeah.
I thought Diablo would shut down there.
And Alan's going to move it all in here for another 450. And now does Diablo call because maybe he thinks Alan has an ace?
You can't call that, though.
No.
Diablo.
Yeah.
Come on.
Stacks down.
You were just talking him up, too.
Yeah.
Man.
And a 5 wouldn't be any good here.
I mean,
the board is paired
look at the
deuce.
flop. It's 10-10 deuce.
Round back.
What do you think Allen has
Yeah.
when you bet it?
Very good.
Diablo is out. He's drawing dead.
I knew Allen would check. I knew
Yeah.
Allen would check the turn. I just thought Diablo would be smart enough to check behind him.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go home, Alan.
I will go home if I lose that hand.
You know hand?
That, if I lose that
Send
hand,
me home.
Again, I just always wonder why people who are kind of beginner players, Dave, have such a tendency to slow play. It's just ridiculous. And like you said, if Diablo was smart, it's almost like giving him a chance to get there with whatever he has.
I mean,
a smart player would have checked behind the turn if he hadn't paired the board, and you're giving him 2 free cards to peel off to a 5, right?
Going on
Right. Well,
always
once
line.
once the turn comes off, it makes no difference.
Right.
Five's
right,
no good.
Right. Right.
you can beat me.
Alan?
I just don't. Yeah. I mean, give Allen credit. He slow played it, and he doubled up there.
Okay, one.
He's now up to $1,500.
$120.
$120. $120 raise here. I think it was by Ed. Pocket 4s.
Yeah, the action is getting hot and heavy here.
Actually, excuse me, it was by Diablo. Deuce 3 off suit. Well, now he's really loosening up, Dave.
The wild.
Tommy's in there.
6.
And this is the problem with Diablo's game. Diablo's game changes as the stakes change.
720 here, 6 ways. 8-7 deuce. Diablo's the pre-flop raiser.
Now, Joe's got an open-ended straight draw plus overcards.
Looks like Track has the best hand in seat 5.
Joe's going to bet, though.
Bets 100 into a $620 pot.
Well, it's kind of an information getter. Sometimes I'll screw around if I'm playing like the 200 game or the 3 to 5 game or even 500. I'll throw like a $5 bet in there, a $10 bet, just to get some information.
Well, Kevin Muck's overcards and a gut shot, and I think that's because there's so many players behind him, Dave. I mean, if you were last to act, maybe you can make that call with Jack 9. Track just calls with the Jack 7.
Raise it.
And Diablo's going to raise with Deuce 3.
200 more.
He makes it 200 more, again, which is really not that much, because the pot now was 900 before the raise. He makes it 200 more, so it's 1,100.
He's got
Only
position,
200
and
to
he's
call.
trying to take this pot away.
But I just don't think the raise is enough. Joe quickly calls.
Very good.
Pot's now 1,300. Track's going to call 200 here.
Yeah, but if these players miss, though, and Diablo continues betting, he might take it down.
And Track calls. So now the pot's $1,500.
Wow, I'm surprised track called also.
3 ways. I think the raise was so small, and look at this, the turn's a deuce.
Well, and Diablo's bluff turns into a huge hand here as he turns trips.
600.
And he's going to bet 600 into a $1,500 pot. Again, another small pot, and Joe calls.
Now, Track's got to let this go at this point. You get a bet and a call. Your Jack 7 can't be good.
$2,700 pot.
What do you put these guys
600
both on open-ended straight draws?
600 to call. Yeah, he's going to be out of there.
Okay.
Well, Joe is drawing live, right?
Yeah, he needs a Jack or a...
6. And
Yes.
the river's a 5. Joe checks.
800, Joe.
And this is pretty much check fold.
Diablo bets 800. You know, the funny thing is, I've seen Joe make check raises in limit and sometimes in no limit when he thinks maybe the guy has nothing here. Diablo's
Right.
got $800
Okay, maybe
here.
maybe the other guy has missed also. Maybe he had a draw.
The pot is $3,500, and it's an $800 bet. The only problem is that Joe would almost have to check raise all in, and we know Diablo's not going
Now,
in.
I want to give Diablo credit for a bluff here, even though he turned trips.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Diablo's going to continue betting the same way, even if he doesn't turn that deuce.
Yeah.
And he probably takes his hand down.
Get open, Ollie.
Because he got Jack 7 off the hand anyway.
Again, Joe would have to make pretty much a check raise all in, because Diablo's about 3 or 4 grand behind. The pot's $3,500.
Diablo's not going anywhere.
No, I'm just saying, like.
Okay.
But in order for it to make it look real, even
Right,
if Diablo
right.
had Ace King, he's got to check raise big.
I mean, if Joe's got 6-9, I suppose he's got the nuts, right? Almost. Got the nuts straight, that is.
I just don't know what Joe's thinking about here.
He's thinking if he can make a play or not. Let's see.
It's a $3,500 bet. It's an $3,500 pot, $800 bet here. And Joe's looks like he's got at least 7,000 behind.
Well, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take the full 7,000.
But again, we know Diablo's not going to fold.
Hey,
So Joe should just Oh, wow. And I'm telling you, Dave, well, he's cutting out those chips. And I've seen him make this play before.
Well, he's putting Diablo on nothing. I mean, Diablo did have pretty much nothing until he turned trips. So
maybe he's just trying to get a reaction right now from Diablo by cutting those chips out.
Well, I think he is trying to.
Trying to read the player.
Let's take a look at Diablo here. We can get a little picture-in-picture of Diablo. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, because we got the shot on Joe.
See what Diablo's thinking. And look at that. Man, our technical staff, Isaac.
And he's going to make the raise, Dave. I called it. He makes the check raise with nothing on the river. And it looks like it's another 3,000. I just don't see how Diablo's going to get away.
It's another 3.
Yeah, and you know what? I can't fault Joe. I mean, Joe's trying.
Yeah.
Joe's trying here.
And the pot is now 6,500. 3,000 for Diablo to call. And is Joe representing 6-9? But he took so long, Dave, to make this move on the river.
How about pocket 7s? Pocket 8s?
3,000 to call. And just obviously, if Joe knew that Diablo had trip deuces, he wasn't going to make this move.
I don't think so.
No.
But if he puts Diablo on just an 8, like Ace 8,
Yeah.
or he puts Diablo on 9-8,
Yep.
or you put him on a, I mean, Diablo could have missed his draw also. Who knows?
$6,500 pot, 3,000 for Diablo to call.
Man.
And this would really be the bluff, the all-time bluff, probably alive at the bike here. Check raising the river as a bluff. But look at this. I think Diablo's going to make the call here. And he does make the call. And Joe has been caught.
Oh. Man, I tell you, it was painful that night when I had to give Kenna James that bottle of wine for bluff night.
Yeah, it's going to be painful tonight for Joe.
Wow.
I mean, the amount of bluffing Joe has done tonight, I think it's pretty much locked up right now.
Well, most of his bluffs haven't worked.
I know.
I mean, he's stuck 10 grand tonight.
Well, the issue is that if Joe had made that check raise against an overpair, would somebody lay it down? And then actually, I was thinking when Diablo actually bet there, for him to bet the river, Dave, he either had to be strong or he was betting with nothing. Because again, even with an overpair, unless you think that you're betting for value with an 8, sometimes you don't want to face a gigantic check raise and no limit on the river.
Well, that's one of the reasons. I mean, Joe shows the reason. That's the reason why you don't check. You don't sometimes don't want to bet for value on the river with kind of a marginal holding.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Even even an overpair there might have been considered a marginal holding, although the board was paired, though.
Yeah.
I think I still might have bet an overpair for value there.
But the thing I'm wondering here is, I mean,
definitely if the board wasn't paired, I think I might just check it down.
The way the hand played out, I mean, Diablo raising.
Yeah.
You think, okay, what would Diablo raise with? An 8, a 7, 2 pair?
Right.
And there's a lot of hands like that, and then you go, well, if he only has 8-7, 2 pair, or if he only has an 8,
yeah.
That hand's not that strong. Maybe I can get him off it. Little did he know that Diablo was making the play with deuce and got lucky. Mm-hmm. Man. Oh, poor Joe.
Line's good. Big line's good.
And what an unbelievable hand. And how much is Joe down now, Dave?
Close to 10,000? I would say over 10K.
That's a lot to lose in this game. I mean, we've seen it done on Wednesday night's game.
And a couple of things were...
But it's not like it was just one big pot either, remember?
No, he's lost it 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And a couple of them were the big bluffs, and then a couple of them were, just unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been his night.
You need a double.
Again, and again, when you're considering that, and the thing changes because the board is paired, so I think somebody would have bet with an overpair anyways. But even, if you think that you have a made hand on the river and no limit, sometimes you're more apt to bet it as Martin flops a flush here. Because people are wary of the fact that they're not going to bet even a strong hand because of the ability of a big check raise from up front, all in on the river, right? Martin flops a flush. Is he going to actually bet it?
He bet $50.
I'm going to learn tonight. Well, that was a nice fight.
Ed's got bottom pair and he calls. Ed's got 9-4 clubs and he calls. I love Ed. You know, Ed is one of the nicest guys in the world, and he's here just to have a good time.
Right, that's true.
Does not care.
Well,
He's
how
not
about
a
Alan, though?
poker player.
Alan's got 8. He's got top pair.
Well, Ed's got 2 pair
Oh,
now.
wow. 2 pair, 4-9. And Martin, again, has the flush. But I don't think Ed is that deep. Martin bets 200, it looks like here.
How about a 4 comes on the river?
And does Ed raise?
9.
Ed's going to raise it to 900, Dave, with 9-4. Let's see what Martin does here.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I mean, the way Martin's played, I don't want him to win. I was really rooting for Ed here. Come on, 4. Come on, 4.
And Martin, does he just call or does he re-raise? He just calls. Pot's about 2,500, and the river's a jack.
Well, they both have 2 pair. Martin also has a flush also.
And is Martin scared of a higher flush? Martin checks.
Yes.
And Ed checks right behind him.
Wow.
Wow. Wow is right.
I couldn't induce you, huh?
And Martin, I think Martin thought he was going to bet again.
2 pair, there's a flush on the flop. You're sweating sitting next to me. You're breathing heavy.
Martin's talking about Ed sweating and breathing heavy.
I think that was Ed talking about Martin's.
Oh, Martin was sweating and well, we were just talking about Match.com, so they make a cute couple. Look at the 2 of them. Maybe somebody can Photoshop those guys together. It's only about 10 minutes left in our Bluff Night contest, so please email us with who you think is the biggest bluffer of the night.
Yep.
Wow, you did that, Paul? You did all I did? Oh, shit.
Hey, I wanted to ask that question, that Omaha pot limit Omaha question.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Anybody out there who plays a lot of Omaha High, or just knows this? Dave and I were just having some fun yesterday when we weren't playing. What are the odds with 4 cards by the end, after all 5 cards coming out, of making 2 pair?
Right, if you have
Omaha?
4 different cards
4
in
different
Omaha.
cards
What are the odds of making 2
of
pair?
making any 2 pair. Is it over 50%?
2 pair better, actually.
2 pair better. That's what I meant. 2 pair better. Yeah. I would have to say it's definitely over 50%.
I don't know. That's what
Yeah.
I'm curious of. Well,
7-9-3.
interesting. Track's got an open-ended straight draw, and both Joe and Ed have second pair.
And Ed is going to bet here, it looks like, with ace-7.
Okay, 100.
Joe's going to call. It's a $100 bet. And Track's going to raise.
He's going to raise with his draw. He makes it 600 more, Dave.
Man, aggressive play. Good aggressive play. Raising with your draws.
Sit high?
Yeah.
And Ed is one of those guys, I mean, there's no point in criticizing somebody's play who's just here to have a good time.
Call and a call. Wow. Joe overcalled with Jack-7.
Well, 8-6 is still not there, but he's got a pair of 6s now.
Joe make the overcall with Jack-7. Check, check. And look at this.
Wow.
Track's going to make a bet here of about $3,500 all in. Joe has him covered.
The pot is, I want to say, 15. The pot's $5,000 now.
Yeah,
$3,500 to call.
Yeah, $5,000, $3,500 to call. You're right.
And folks, you are seeing the cards correctly.
Right.
These guys all have pretty much nothing.
Ed bet, Joe called, Track raised. Ed called the raise, and Joe overcalled with Jack-7. Turn came out 6, check, check, all in for $3,500. $5,000 pot, $3,500 to call.
Maybe Track thinks he's playing with tournament chips here. Man. Always putting the pressure on Ed and Joe here.
You know what, though? If he reads him as weak, it's a good play because they don't have hands that can make a $3,500 call here, right?
Oh. Does Track know Ed?
He's got a pair and an open-ended straight draw.
Now, for Ed, it's not a $3,500 bet. Ed's got to look at it that way.
Right, that's right.
Ed only has 15, maybe 1,800 left.
But Joe does have the money.
Oh, actually, no. He's got more than that. I'm sorry.
Oh, you know what, Dave? We have the card up wrong. Track has pocket 8s. Track has pocket 8s, and that changes things.
Oh.
So he's got the best hand. And both players fold.
Still very aggressive considering there's a 9 out there.
I looked up at the camera window. The camera windows for a
The
quick
river
second.
would have been a 10, actually, and Track would have gotten there with the straight.
Yeah. Track had pocket 8s.
Well, that changes some things, but to be honest with you, it's still a real aggressive play with pocket 8s. I mean, there's still a 9
It
out
is.
there.
Yeah,
He
it is.
barely calls $100 before the flop. Flop comes 7-6-9. And
I think Whalecock has actually put it best on 2+2. He says, "Congratulations, Joe. You now own a $4,000 iPod, and it's more like a $14,000 iPod."
Hey, you know what, though? I think we're underselling this iPod here. This is a bluff night
That's
iPod.
right.
You can't just get this, okay?
Right.
You can't buy it. You can't just go to Apple.com and buy it.
Monogrammed.
Yes. It's engraved, monogrammed, okay? But I mean, you can't pick this up, okay? On the black market, this might sell for, who knows, 20, 30,000.
6 players.
So are you going to go out there and give it to him?
120.
Hey, you handle the interviews on Friday nights. I do them on Thursday nights.
Great.
300.
Well, I don't think I'm going to interview him.
We have a raise here, and I believe Ed has re-raised to 300 with pocket sevens. It was limped around, and Track's got top pair here, and the bet came from Diablo with Jack 10, so he's got Track out kicked.
That's what you should have waited
So a
for.
bet and a raise by Ed, but Diablo has the best hand.
And I tell you, the money is just flying around here tonight.
Yep.
Every Friday night, the action is just
I'm
great.
sorry, I apologize. I won't do it again. It will never happen. You will not see it. You will never see it.
I'll send you the instructions of how you like it.
See what Diablo does here. We can't give that much respect to Ed. I mean, they've played a lot together,
That's 100.
and I think he's going to call here, Dave.
Well, Diablo is up over, I want to say Diablo's up about $10,000 tonight.
Wow. Well, turns a 4. He still has the best hand. It's a third diamond, though. See if Ed uses the diamond.
Couple of orders for me, please.
About a $700 pot. And
Wow.
And Ed bets.
And Ed's not usually a big bluffer.
He bets
Does he think
800.
his hand is the best hand? Wow. Ed making a late run at this iPod.
Well, Diablo has the 10 of diamonds in his hand. I don't know if that's going to make any difference.
I got a pocket pair. I can tell you that.
Ed's telling him, Diablo, I have a pocket pair. I can tell you that much.
Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, jacks, queens, kings, or aces, or, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, he would lose to 10s, 8s, 4s, or deuces as well. And Ed lays it down. I mean, Ed lays it down. Diablo lays it down.
It's got to be bigger than 10.
Not necessarily it doesn't, but how about if it's 10 itself?
I was wondering.
Diablo did lay down the best hand.
Only a couple minutes left to vote on the bluff night. Please email us at liveatthebike.com with your final votes.
Oh, change.
Yeah,
And
there's
look
a
at that
chip
chip count there.
Wow.
Diablo has bought in for $5,000. He's up $9,000 tonight.
Yeah.
What do you look like?
Is that Yosh in the background? Oh,
There we go.
God.
Pimp Daddy. And Joe is probably in for, I mean, what would we say Joe is in for, 15, 16 grand?
Yeah, he's down a lot today, Dave.
Yeah.
Well over 10,000.
Hey, Joe. This is not LA Central.
And
It's not LA Central.
everyone else really hasn't moved all that much.
Well, they moved up and down. They just haven't, you know.
Click. I can see his voice hasn't changed at all, though, Dave.
One more 100.
All right.
Got
Hey.
limped around, and Diablo has raced here
I'm leaving with
to
you.
100. I'm sorry. I can't continue when I look at
I got to tell you, if spades come out, it's going to just finish Joe's night. Because Diablo's got ace, 9 of spades, and Joe there has got king, queen of spades.
Yeah.
And
Allen's in there with 7-8 of hearts. Ace 5-9. Diablo flops top 2.
yeah, nice flop for Diablo. New player in seat 8. What's his name? Shaheen is in seat 8. Okay, he's a regular.
200.
Not normally on the
gonna
game
bet.
this big, but usually plays a smaller game. So we'll have to see how he plays in this game.
Come on, you're not in when I need you.
Diablo takes it down. Everybody folds.
You're a dangerous player.
And we've got some interesting voting here. A couple people voting for Track.
Oh, there's a chip runner.
When you have a good hand, face changes.
That's what I like to see, Dave.
Candy Strippers.
Well, like I said, just like my fish.
I can't tell you. That's my secret. Oh,
Joe's got a lot of bluffs here. Wong even has a bluff, and Diablo made a late rush here. He had 3 or 4 bluffs. I'm not sure if Joe is the biggest bluffer of the night, or maybe we give him the iPod just out of sympathy.
Ace King
And there's Shaneen there. Shaneen? Shaheen. Seat 8 there.
Now Diablo's going to raise. Looks like. Excuse me. Track raise with pocket 6s. Couple callers, and Martin calls. Ace King.
And there's Huang. He's moved to seat 4.
5-way action.
one gets respect.
It's about a $400 pot. Tracks the original raiser, King Jack 4.
Well, Allen's got top pair, and Martin has top pair, top kicker.
Right, and Diablo's going to bet.
He's got a gut shot.
He bets 150 here. Let's see if Martin raises.
Yeah, that's Martin's hand.
No, he's just going to call. Pot's about 700 now, 300 to call. And might Allen go broke with this hand? Now he makes the call. 850 now, three ways.
I mean, Martin, with two spades out there and two Broadway cards.
And a 10 comes on the turn, and that gives Diablo a pair.
And Allen's now open-ended.
Diablo's going to continue to fire. He only bets 250, though.
Any ace or nine, an ace or a nine gives Allen the straight. A queen gives Diablo the straight.
And look at this, Martin continues to call. The pot's now 1250, 250 for Allen to call.
Yeah. Obviously, if a queen comes, it would give Diablo the straight, but it also gives Martin the straight, and Martin would have the higher straight.
I mean, Diablo only bet 250 into an $850 pot there.
Well, he doesn't like his hand.
But, I mean, Martin, sometimes he's got to make a move here at some
He just
point,
called?
Right? He just called with
Wow.
the ace king.
How do you just call that?
How do you just call it on the flop? And Allen makes the call. So now the pot's about $1,300.
A lot of cards that Martin's got to dodge here.
And the river is an 8.
And he dodges them all. Wow,
Yeah.
Martin's hand is still good. And watch this go check, check, check.
Yep.
Check.
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 Yep, there you go.
Wow, what a surprise.
Ace king is good.
Ace king.
Ace is good.
There it is.
Nobody wanted to represent that spade there on the river.
Well,
I'm surprised. I figured, third spade, that's a pretty scary
Oh,
card.
that was a huge... If you're Allen there, Dave, reevaluate that hand. If you're Allen and you're in position and an 8 of spades comes out,
Yeah,
you can get people that, have you beat off that hand easily, especially Martin.
definitely.
Representing a flush, representing a 9.
Without a doubt.
Oh, man.
Now, the interesting, Diablo could have represented spades, but obviously he's not privy to what we know.
Well, maybe the other thing, too, is that Allen's hand was strong enough where he just wanted to win it in a showdown.
Yeah.
I
Well, he
think
had
that's what it
top
was.
pair with
Yeah.
queen kickers.
Yeah,
Maybe he didn't think he needed to raise.
right.
Or bet the river, that is. Now, Diablo probably knew he had to bet the river, but he was scared that one of the two players might have spades.
Yeah.
And he's betting into the nuts.
I wish you make your queen.
1 more hundred.
Got a raise here. I believe it was Joe. Ace 10 of diamonds.
3 players.
Only a couple more hands tonight, folks.
Yeah, 4-way action. Three-way action, excuse me.
All spades out there.
Joe bets with the top pair. No one has a spade. Looks like he's going to take it down.
Yeah. Yeah, and Joe's been winning the small pots and losing the big ones.
Yep.
Not usually a good formula to go by in No Limit Hold'em.
No.
You take. Huh? You take.
Button moves over to seat 1.
Yep, that's Martin Doss. He's still stacking his chips from that big win. And Martin's had a good night now. I mean, he's played it really passively all night, but he's gotten paid off a couple of times. Once by Ed, and one time there by Diablo and Allen.
Looks like Allen has pocket queens this hand.
Four players.
4-way action. Allen did not raise with queens in late position. And what a terrible flop for 2 red queens. Ace, king, 9, all spades.
Yeah, that's... Look at Allen. I mean, let's get close with Allen there. He looks sick. I mean, look at that. Look at him. Oh, my God.
Got checked around. The turn's to 3. Allen looks actually, he's got the best hand.
Well, Huang's got an ace.
Oh, excuse me, you're right. Huang's got the ace 7.
Yeah.
And now he bets. Oh, Allen, you can't call here, can
Well,
you?
when everybody checks the flop, you got to think, wait, is this guy trying to take it away?
he
Is
calls.
he stealing? I mean, hey,
I just would be done with it, though, Dave. I got to be honest with you.
I mean, it's easy to sit on the flop, though. When the turn comes out, when
Yeah.
everybody checks the flop, though.
And the river's a queen, and he makes a set.
Wow.
Jeez.
How many players? Sir?
I'd like to see a little bet here.
Yeah, definitely a bet for Valley if it gets
I
checked.
mean, if Huang checks this, yeah, I think you need to bet this.
He's going to bet 200.
Well, there you go. And he might get called this. He might get called. The problem is, what can Wang beat?
He can only probably chop, right? If he was lucky. Yeah.
But you wonder, okay, why did he call me?
Right.
He didn't bet the flop, but he can call
It's
me.
almost like he's slow playing, like a queen high flush or something.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
a little weird.
Yeah. Look at this comment by Jive Dadson on 2+2. Guys, if you could cut the criticism frequency to about 1/10, I think the show would be a lot more fun to watch.
1/10 of what?
No, we love Jive Dadson.
Obviously, when we criticize somebody's play,
Right.
you know, it's not a personal thing. It's just criticizing. It's actually a particular play. Like, wow, I didn't like that play, and it's only our opinion.
Exactly.
Last thing I want to do is get it like those other vanilla shows and like, wow, all these players are so great.
Right.
Gee, it's really tough to play poker.
Diablo's got pocket queens, and he's raised. And Alan's got pocket sixes. See if Alan makes the call here. Dave, I think that this is going to... We're actually going to be doing a couple more hands tonight.
Yeah.
There you go.
Working overtime tonight.
10-3-5 here.
I'll tell you, there's slave drivers here.
Is Alan going to get in trouble with this flop? Nope, he gets away from it.
Wow.
One overcard.
What happened to all the money?
I guess he was just looking to get a set.
Yeah, I think so.
I double them up. You see I double them up? This guy don't.
They took it away from me.
Close to
Boy,
$10
Diablo
chips.
has a lot of hair. I mean, how old do you think he would be? Like, he's probably, what, in his 50s? I wish I have that much hair when I'm in my 50s, I gotta tell you.
You don't have that much hair now.
What? Come on.
He has way more hair than you. Look at this. Here, go forward.
Look at your hair.
Go forward. There, right there. See?
No good.
I have no fear. My dad is actually in town. He's over 60 and has a full head of hair.
Yeah, but supposedly your hair genes come from your mom's dad.
Okay, my mom's got plenty of hair, too.
And that's why I take my daily Propecia. There's a Merc plug.
Gosh.
Why not?
There's something
To
you just don't
prevent
admit
hair
to.
loss? Pocket ace is here for seat 6. And Tommy's going to raise.
160 now.
Makes
Well,
it
let's see if
160
anybody's
more.
noticing here. Like, Tommy's played like 3 hands all night.
Right. Like Alan, you mean? With pocket 4s? He doesn't really have enough money to make that call. We just saw him lay down pocket 6s to a 10-3-5 board, heads up against Diablo. He only has about 900. If he's just going to play it to hit a set, Dave.
He's just there to have a good time. He wants to see if he hits a set and wins a pot. The excitement of the...
And Ed's
of the
going to call
gamble.
with king 3 of clubs. And wow.
And this is going to get everybody in
Joe's
the
going
pot.
to be in there with queen jack.
And this could be dangerous.
160 times 4. But a
And Huang throws his queen 10 away on the button.
$560 pot. Here we go. 4 ways. 7, 5, 6, couple hearts. What a horrible flop for pocket aces.
But
He
this
does
is
have the ace of
interesting,
hearts.
though. Now, Allen's got a pair of 4s here. He's open-ended.
200.
And Tommy checked, and Allen's going to bet 200 here.
200 into a $400 pot. That's about half the pot there.
Well, $560 pot, actually.
560? Okay.
Yeah. The raise was 160. And Ed calls with a gut shot. King 3 of clubs.
What was that? The gut
And now
shot?
what is Tommy going to do? Is he going to reevaluate and see if a safe turn card comes in? He just calls, Dave.
He wants to see another card, see what happens.
And the turn's a 5, and, well, he's got the nut flush draw now. Allen makes a straight.
No, it's the same 5. Paired the
Oh,
board.
excuse me.
Right.
I was thinking that you're right.
Yeah.
So that's actually a pretty good card for Tommy. If he doesn't think someone's on a heart draw.
It's tough. If you're playing with these guys a lot, you know Allen could be betting. Who knows?
And
You know
everybody
Ed could be
checks.
calling.
And the river's a 6.
Man, if you're Tommy, you just hope it gets checked down, huh?
Yeah.
Now, let's see if Allen can pull a bluff out of his hat.
I don't think so.
Well, hey, if Allen was betting 7-6 or 6,
Check around.
Gets checked around there, Dave. And Tommy's going to take it
take
down.
it down,
with aces.
Tommy.
But again, that's a pretty bad flop there for aces, multi-way.
Well, it's a bad flop, and then the 5 of hearts comes out. And I know he has
Yeah.
the ace of hearts. When somebody has a heart draw, it's dangerous. And then another 6 comes out, and you're going, man, what can I beat?
Yeah, but I filled up.
If I were you, Tommy, I'd thank Alan. He was the reason for you betting $200. What for? Open-ended.
And a pair.
Thank you.
Here you go. Here's the post here by
You got to open the end, man.
San Marco's Run 1, he says, on 2+2. The criticisms are a part of the commentary. It becomes very impersonal if they cut this out. You're asking them to stop being themselves. This is live, and their reactions and enthusiasm is what gets me to watch. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
This is going to be the last hand.
Yeah, obviously the show would be somewhat boring if all we ever did was praise people.
Well, I think we
10-10-8 here on the flop.
You have it for
One pesos I can fold. 1 pesos.
And Diablo bets, and he's going to take it down.
I want to get my money back.
And that is going to do it for us tonight. Dave Tuckman, it's a pleasure.
Always.
As always. Looks like this thing is going to be going to Joe Wynn. Again, it's about, I don't know what it is retail, but for him it cost him about $10,000 to $12,000 tonight.
A bargain.
But what a great deal.
We're giving it away.
Tonight. I mean, we definitely have to do this again.
Yeah, you guys should come down because we are probably going to give away one of these next Friday as well. So
Monogrammed. So for everyone here in the booth, and for David Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Give me next hand.
Yeah. Raise 3 more.
I can't see it. No, actually,
At 6, 6.